A very good morning to you and to a very bright Marion Cricket Club in Sandymount in Dublin. We have the final match in the Evoke Super 20 trophy for you. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a dead rubber because the Dragons have come out on top very early on, but the Scorchers and the Typhoons playing this last game, and it's a big one for the Typhoons. They need to get they're wanting to get their first win on the board. The Jane Maguire with ball in hand, the captain, and Louise Little and Gabby Lewis with bat in hand. It's a gorgeous day here in Ireland, and looking forward to a very tight contest. The Scorchers have obviously beaten the Typhoons both times they've played so far in the competition. First was up in Breedy, then in Railway last weekend, but today Typhoons looking to get their first one on the board. Oh, and that one just a little bit low. Jane Maguire maybe too full for Louise Little to play that shot, truth be told. And if you've been watching for the last few weeks, Jane Maguire not bowling last weekend, but she's back this weekend. Gabby Lewis in a rich vein of form, as we so often say. Louise Little has been entertaining at the top of the order for the Scorchers. Gets it away this time. Laura Delaney will keep it to 1. Lots of runs on offer yesterday. The Dragons made 191 for 3 and just about beat the Typhoons, who made it to 180. So it's a high scoring pitch, and you'd expect a high score again today. The long boundary to the right as you're looking at the screen towards the clubhouse. Both straight boundaries pretty short. The shortest boundary probably towards the scoreboard, which is on the left of the screen. Umpire Willie Clark just taking his time. And a big pull shot there towards the club, towards the score box. And it's going to be the first boundary, and it's going to be a 6. So Gabby Lewis in a mood. She'll be a wicket that the Typhoons will want to get nice and early. And Jane Maguire too short on this occasion. Gabby Lewis just has to pivot. She had a 6 in her mind the whole time. Much better from Jane Maguire. Gets back on her good length. Not a huge amount to swing, and you probably wouldn't expect there to be. Not a huge amount of cloud overhead. And it's looking like it's going to heat up as the day goes on. So the Scorchers, they didn't hesitate. Christina Coulter-Riley won the toss, decided to bat first. I'll probably see her coming in at number 4. Nice looking shot, and 5 fielders in on the ring on the offside, can't cut that off. Gabby Lewis making full use of those long levers, finds the gap. Good to see Georgina Dempsey back in a blue shirt. I'm sure we'll see her before long. Slower ball, well read just about from Gabby Lewis. Managed to adjust. She thought about going after it, but adjusted in the end. So an eventful first over, 6 and a 4 in it, as well as the single. And after 1, the Scorchers 11 without loss. Gareth Morrison, our other umpires at this end, the Hazeldean end. Lara Craig will bowl the second over. And Georgina Dempsey has been out with an injury, so it'll be interesting to see if she does get to bowl or if she's in as a batter today. Cover out on the boundary, mid-wicket as well. 2 very strong areas for Lulu Little. Straight to Georgina Dempsey in point. Gets a big cheer from her teammates, who are glad to see her back on the field. It's been a change to the bowling lineup with Jane Maguire obviously back bowling this week. Freya Sargent, we've seen her with the new ball last weekend in Railway. Short and heaved. Made sure to wait for it. Lulu Little, her first boundary, went square rather than to that fielder in the deep at mid-wicket. Far too short on a good pitch here in Marion. And Lulu Little helps herself. Nice and deep in the crouch there. A little bit of a change in her setup. Much fuller on this occasion. I think that's the kind of length that Lulu Little will be tempted to play straight back over the bowler's head, but maybe not this early. Zara Craig does tend to get the ball to seam around a little bit, so Lulu Little just a little watchful to start off with. Short and wide, but the fielder out there providing protection. Floated, and Gabby Lewis will take the field on. Not a convincing strike, but gets it over Freya Sargent, and the short boundary straight means she'll get her second four. Second four for the over, second four for Gabby Lewis. Just caught the outside half and right down the toe of the bat as well. Commitment to the shot was there. Lloyd Tennant, the new Ireland coach, on after the power play. 20 without loss after 2. So a really good start from the Scorchers. And they are an opening pair that if you can't get them out quickly, they will make you pay. Jane Maguire will continue. Bowling options for the Typhoons. Well, we'll wait and see about Georgina Dempsey, but you'd imagine she might have had the new ball if she's allowed to bowl. Leah Paul with her left arm spin, Freya Sargent with her right arm spin, Laura Delaney of course with her medium pace, and the spin of Arisha Foysal and Ellie McGee. So lots and lots of different options for Captain Jane Maguire to think about, but right now she's thinking about her bowling. There's international series coming up. This is the final game in the either Super Series, the T20 or the 50 over. So it'll be interesting to see now with the new coach coming in what his first squad is going to look like. And all the players for the past 3 weekends will have been trying to put their names on that squad. Nice from Jane Maguire. Twice she's tried to get the ball to go onto the stumps. Gabby Lewis was sprinting back to make her ground. Oh, far too wide there from Jane Maguire. Lulu Little's actually lucky she missed it there. Dances down. Has she? Oh, what a screamer of a catch. Laura Delaney just sticks the hand out and the ball sticks as well. Well, they needed that breakthrough, the Typhoons. Caught on the inside half of the bat and then caught by Laura Delaney running to her right. They need a bit of luck to go their way, the Typhoons. Still searching for their first win. Lulu Little, well, she can't believe it. Gone to a cracker. Goes for 6 from 9. And the Scorchers 21 for 1. We definitely need a few looks at this catch, I think, across the course of the day. Into the pitch from Jane Maguire. A little dance down. I think that's actually what cost her a wicket there, but got the hands out. That's brilliant technique from Laura Delaney, and lovely celebration as well. It just shows you that no matter what, you always give yourself a chance. What a catch. So Emma Richardson out at number 3 for the Scorchers, playing exclusively as a batter at the moment. So she's evolved from an off spinner into a top order batter. And the Typhoons, well, that's the kind of thing that you need to happen. They've played 5 matches, no points. Scorchers have played 5, they've won 2, obviously both against the Typhoons. They've 2 bonus points in those wins. They've 10 points. Dragons, 6 out of 6. 26 points, so they're absolutely head and shoulders above. Nice start from Richardson. Cover out in the boundary. Stokel, obviously from Marion, so she'll know these boundaries well. Third and cover out, which I think is a better field, because it means Jane Maguire can stick to a line and length outside off stump. Dance down from Gabby Lewis, takes on the straight boundary. Freya Sargent gave it a go, why not? We've seen what happens when you just stick the mid out, but just about had the height. Much better connection from Gabby Lewis, even if she didn't get quite the elevation she would have wanted. Oh, just about over. Wasn't far away, that. Short and great connection. Stokel does well. So, an eventful over again, a boundary and the wicket. 27 for 1 after 3. And the big wicket, of course, Gabby Lewis, the slightly taller of the two there on your screen. Emma Richardson wearing number 8. Sarah Craig will continue. So that Zimbabwe series coming up, the first game on the 20th, and then the 22nd and 23rd. Those are the T20s. So make sure you get your tickets for them if you haven't already. In Pembroke Cricket Club. Short and wide, and the protection is there. And then the ODIs if you're in Belfast. Those are on the 26th and the 28th. Up in Stormont. Pakistan come quite soon after that. First game on the 7th. It's just a T20 series. 7th, 10th and 11th of August. Oh, that's just crept down leg side. Joanna Loughran up to the stumps. Not tidy, but effective. So this is the wicket they really want. 20 from 9, Gabby Lewis. Just not looking convincing here, Zara Craig. She's frustrated, which you can understand. One creeping down leg side now, one creeping wide off side. Much better. A little bit of shape away. Gabby Lewis was thinking about taking on the straight boundary again, I think, and just check the shot. Oh, and there's one down leg. She's, oh, and a misfield doesn't help things either. Chased it round Gabby Lewis and helped herself to 4 more. It was straight at Arisha Faisal, albeit it was hit with some power. Went straight through the fielder at short fine. Disappointing from the Typhoons' point of view. Interesting that Gabby Lewis decided to play that shot, because it was always going to be a wide down leg side. I'd say Joanna Loughran's probably happy she played the shot, because she might not have been able to cut it off behind the stumps. So good power play so far for the Scorchers. It is a high scoring ground, Marion, so I'd say par is maybe 180. Club games, you often get very high scores here. Sarah Craig probably getting a little bit tired now. She's bowled 3 extras. She just needs to bowl 1 more to get out of the over. 1 more legal delivery. Oh dear. And there's a little bit of sloppiness from Joanna Loughran. Did enough to slow it down, so it'll only be 1. 4 extras in the over for Zara Craig, and the longer it goes on, the more it feels like she might bowl them, because she's getting tired. And that extra ball punished by Gabby Lewis again to square. Another sweep shot and another boundary. So an expensive over from Zara Craig. She finishes her second one. She's gone for 25 in those 2. And after 4, it's 43 for 1. Again, Gabby Lewis not happy to just take the wide. She's going to help herself to a boundary. So good at that pivot, whether it be the front foot or the back foot, Gabby Lewis. So still inside the power play, 2 laid out. Laura Delaney is going to bowl her first over. Cover and mid-wicket on the boundary. Joanna Loughran up to the stumps. So she plays her club cricket with Laura Delaney, so that's useful, no doubt. And you'd imagine that Zara Craig won't bowl the 6th in the power play as well, so we might see Freya Sargent come on for that over, or else Leah Paul maybe. They sent it forward of Rebecca Stokel. They're going to take a second. Emma Richardson in trouble, but the throw not quite good enough. I think Joanna Loughran, did she need to run towards the ball there? No opportunity of the run out once she left the stumps. So good communication between these 2. It's a lot of ground to cover for Rebecca Stokel out there. Doesn't manage to beat Leah Paul this time round. Nicely bowled, taking on Freya Sargent. Oh, pick up and hit, and Emer Richardson was gone for all money. A bit of a gamble, paid off this time, but maybe they won't run to that one again. Definitely not something they want, the Typhoons. Those fielders in the ring need to be saving singles. Change in the field, though, is Leah Paul comes around to cover and Rebecca Stokel comes to extra cover on the boundary. So she needs to make sure she doesn't go too wide here, Laura Delaney. Straight to that fielder in the deep. The field goes back to where it was for Emer Richardson. It's a decent start this to Laura Delaney. I think if she manages to get away with no boundaries in the over, she'll be pleased. Just skews off the inside edge, so it'll be another single. As I said, it is a very high scoring ground this, so Typhoons need to just try and get out of the power play and spread the field and hope their spinners can stem the flow of runs, because the seamers have been expensive so far. Albeit Laura Delaney's done well, just 5 in her over with 1 ball to go. And it will stay at 5. So 5th over done, and the Scorchers 48 for 1. As I said, I'll have Lloyd Tennant on to speak about how he's getting on in the new job very shortly. And it's a big summer coming up, so I'm excited to hear about how things are going in Ireland so far, and in fact not very shortly, exactly now. Make yourself comfortable, Lloyd. You're very welcome into the commentary position, I like to say, because it's obviously not a box like they normally say.
It's a good view.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? You've got your screen here, and then, so for the replays, you got it straight away. I won't be able to get you out of here, huh?
Excellent.
Freya Sargent comes on for the final over the power play, and straight away, gap found on the offside. Just a little punch from Emer Richardson, and a boundary to start. Just a little bit too wide from Freya Sargent. So Lloyd, great to have you on. I suppose to start off with, for anyone who's listening and watching and doesn't know you, tell us where you've come from. What's your background?
Well, I've come from England. Spent a long time in cricket. I suppose a family. My dad, mad keen cricketer, and then I sort of went on to play professional cricket for Leicester. Started when I was 17, back in 1985, 4, 5, something like that.
Yeah.
So spent some time there. Then got a contract with Essex, but didn't get into the first team there. And then was injured, so I sort of drifted into coaching then. Mid-90s, sort of doing schools and.
I'm just going to pause you for a second there. There's a big wicket because Gabby Lewis has tried to pull quite a full one from Freya Sargent, the breakthrough. Gabby Lewis goes for a very well-made 30. You must have been pleased to see some of the hitting from her, Lloyd.
She's playing very well. It looked like she was going to get another big score, didn't she?
She did. So it's a huge moment. 1654s in that 30. 53 for 2. So you drifted into coaching? Yeah,
I drifted into coaching. Sort of didn't really know what to do when I'd stopped playing. And so I did schools and all that sort of stuff. And then I suppose started to take it more seriously and got into the pathway at Leicester. Went back to Leicester and coaching in the pathway and the academy, and then moved up to the head coach of the second team and bowling coach. And so we were quite successful in the T20 cricket then. Tim Boone as head coach and Phil Witt as assistant. We got into 5 T20 finals days, and we brought quite a few bowlers through. I suppose Stuart Broad would be the most famous coming through there, but the likes of Luke Wright and Harry Gurney, quite a few went on to play for England, so involved in all that lot. So I was there for another 15 years then. And then I moved out of that, I did a year match refereeing.
Wow.
And then I moved back, and then I started to get more involved into the women's game as a talent scout, really, and manager, talent manager, and then helping John Stanworth with England Women's Academy.
Yeah.
And so I've done quite a bit around that, and then more recently I was working with Manchester Originals in the 100 and head coach of Central Sparks for 5 years. So I've done probably 10 years out of the men's game and more in the women's game, although I kept handing at different counties, working at Lancs and Northants. So yeah.
What do you find the biggest difference between men's and women's coaching? Sorry, totally put you on the spot there.
Yeah. I think there's a few. I think some of the techniques are similar. I think in the men's game, the lads, I suppose, like to be centre of attention. They'll go out and do really good things, where I think that the girls like to stay in the background a little bit. They don't like to be that centre of attention, even when they're really good. So just getting them to have that confidence and just show everybody how good you are is.
Yeah.
And I think it's that psychological bit of it's okay to be really good at something and stand out. I think that's the biggest difference. Where the lads will naturally, at that level, at this level, they will want to stand out and show the world what they've got.
You know, I find that really interesting, because when we spoke to the players as a media team, I said, "Can you stop thanking the team when you get player of the match?" You say, "You're allowed to do well."
Yeah.
I was really pleased with my performance. Lovely little tickle there from Emer Richardson, who, would you believe it, that little tickle has gone all the way to the boundary.
It's not the place to be a bowler, this, is it?
No, it's not. It's a great pitch, isn't it? So bookended that over with boundaries. The first one was a massive shot through the offside from Richardson. The second one, a little bit of touch. But the wicket from Gabby Lewis was probably the biggest moment in the over. A couple of opportunities for run-outs as well.
That's a big wicket, that.
Yeah, so 60 for 2 at the end of the power play. And I suppose the next thing to ask is, you know, you've obviously come over to Ireland, you're taking over after quite a long period of change, and you get to kind of to watch this competition. This is the last game in the Evoke Super 20 trophy, and has it been a good way for you to get to know the players?
Yeah, I think it has, and it's also been like, obviously I've watched from afar of Ireland cricket's gone, and the women's team have been progressing nicely over the last 5-6 years, haven't they?
Yeah.
And obviously it's been left in a good spot, as it's got real solid foundations to build on. So it's a great opportunity to come in and try and move it the next step.
Yeah.
The way I've tried to look at it is all the work that's gone on, you can see the technically sound, they've got a good idea of what they're doing, they're competitive with most teams, really. So if we can get a little bit of X factor into it, is the next step, I think. We've probably got a solid 6 players that you know are going to play the core of the side in each competition. And then the good thing for all the youngsters coming in, there are spots available to push forward and see if we can move on to the next level, whatever that level is. Talking to the girls, they're all keen to move forward. They think over the next 2-3 years we could possibly hit 6th in the world, 6th or 7th in the world. So that's a good place to be going forward to.
And that's the aim, to start climbing the rankings and competing at World Cups.
Yeah, that would be their aim, and like I say, the foundations have been built, haven't they?
Yeah.
So it's quite a nice situation to come into, where you can actually do some. We've seen some power hitting today, where the girls can be freer, try and hit the boundaries, and the batting order's getting longer. So there's not that pressure on a certain few players. I've got to stay in.
Yeah.
Do you know, the longer we can make that batting order now, we can see, hopefully, we've got some star players. We can see them flourish and show what they've got.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping.
And then in terms of the bowlers, are you pleased with how many different types of bowlers you've seen?
Yeah, we could do the left arm seamer to add to the collection, couldn't we? But yeah, Orla's got a bit of pace, hasn't she? And looks like she could get quicker. We've got some medium pace in swing, and we've got some out swing, so we've got wicket taking opportunities. We've got leg spin, off spin, and our left arm spinner's going to be back with us soon. So that's really exciting. So
And some more power hitting here. Christina Coulter-Riley down the pitch. Maybe not the most convincing connection, but manages to get it past Jay Maguire. Could have done better in the mid-on. She covered all the ground. And then it is a bit of a hill down there towards the corner, so it gathers pace towards the score box there. Definitely not the place to be a bowler in Marion.
It seems to gather pace everywhere, this outfield.
And it's like it's up on a table, isn't it? Yeah, very quick outfield, and we've had a hot summer as well, and we're supposed to have another hot week.
Oh, good.
21 to 23 today. I'm not sure I'm feeling 21 to 23 this morning, maybe this afternoon.
They've put us in the shade, haven't they?
Yeah, we're always in the shade. We're always wherever the breeze is. They always put us there. Now I know there's going to be announcements about squads coming up, but have you found it kind of hard to choose who your top players are, or is it stick with the same? What's your outlook for the moment?
It is. It's never easy selection, is it?
No.
I think there's always some spots that are heavily contested, and some that it's probably clear on the players that fit into that. And players in this competition have stood up and scored runs and taken wickets. So hopefully that reflects a little bit in the squad. So at the moment, I would say there's not been massive change.
Yeah.
And then I suppose the changes will come. Like I've said, we've had that foundation, and how can we go to the next level, and which players want to try and achieve that? Maybe who's going to be the best ball striker in the middle of the overs, or who can add an X factor with the bowling? Have we got someone else who can bowl with a bit more pace?
Yeah.
So we'll have a group of fast bowlers, a group of medium pace bowlers, and we've just spoken about the spin. So, can we find another genuine quick bowler? We've got two youngsters who've been injured. I've not really seen yet, but they're highly thought of. So it's quite an exciting time.
Yeah, Georgina Dempsey's in the team today, not allowed to bowl.
Not allowed to bowl.
So
that's
she's
right.
just in as a batter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's.
I was wondering to myself for the first few overs, because we hadn't seen her.
Yeah, I've come into those. The two got injured, Georgina and Alice, and so they're just on the way back to bowling now, with making sure that we don't get a reoccurrence of any injuries. So
Georgina's knee, is it?
Yep. Yeah, all good though.
Oh, good.
She's all good. So
She's had a few. Oh, that's pretty straight. Gareth Morrison says no. Wouldn't mind seeing that one again. It's hit her on the full. Maybe just creeping down. And Alice Tector had a stress reaction. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah. And she's.
What's your tell on this now?
She's going down.
Yeah, just going
Decent
down.
Decision.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to work on our appealing by the looks of that, though.
Yeah.
We can make more of that.
Oh,
well fielded.
Good to just turn the head away there, Laura Delaney.
Yeah, just chinned it, I think. Anything to stop it.
Did you see the catch?
Yes.
What a catch that was.
That is. Yeah.
Great technique, two hands. Then went, I'm not getting it with two hands, so reached out the one hand and it just stuck.
Absolutely straight in, didn't it?
Perfect, yeah. And the celebration after was good.
I'd like to say we've been practicing that all week, but that would be a lie.
She's been practicing for a very long time, don't worry. Laura Delaney, former captain.
Yeah.
And that's just helped on its way too straight from Freya Sargent to.
Well, that's going to run away as well.
Yeah, it's once it gets through the outfield, only 3 fielders out at the moment: square, mid wicket, and cover.
I should think the local batters come from all over to come and bat here, don't they?
Yeah, you can't. You got to score 350 now in a 50 over game, and you still might not. Yeah, it's a high-scoring ground.
The bowlers keep the fingers crossed for rain here, don't they?
Yeah, well, this is Marion Cricket Club, which is where Leah Paul and Rebecca Stokel, who are both playing for the Typhoons today. They'll hope to get their first win for the Typhoons today, but a lot of slow bowlers.
Yeah. Well, Leah bowled well yesterday.
Yeah, her left arm spin's coming back, which is
coming
great. 75 for 2 after 8.
Another one to get into the spin collection.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be handy.
Yeah, and then Alice Tector's got a stress reaction in her back, is that right? And
that's
then
right.
that's recovering.
But she's back, just on the back, starting to bowl now.
And so your background is bowling coaching, more so, or batting?
At Leicester, I was the second team head coach, but bowling coach through the team. So
you'll be keeping a keen eye on Alice Tector's back.
Yeah, hopefully we try and avoid.
Is it more a height thing, or is it mixed action, or
A lot of it can be a growth thing when she's only young, isn't she?
She's so tall.
It can be sort of having a little period of over bowling.
Yeah.
But it can be an action. It can be an action things. There's a lot of work around the pelvis now, making sure you drive your pelvis in the correct direction, and to keep your lumbar spine straight.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. So we'll keep a good eye on all of them, try and keep them all fit.
That's part of the job.
It is one of those things, isn't it? Fast bowling. We all panic about them getting injured, but
it's just going to happen.
do you know what I mean? You're going to pull a muscle if you put in that sort of effort in.
Exactly. Leopold into the attack, and oh no, another misfield in mid-off. Should have done better. I think it's Freya Sargent there, thinking too much about hitting the ground maybe, and just dived over the top of it.
You need your fielders backing you up as a bowler on here, don't you?
100%, yeah.
You're just hoping that gets stopped, aren't you, there?
Maybe
It's actually just a bobble.
Yeah.
Am I being too nice?
Yeah, maybe. But that's good. I think that's good on here. You don't want to be slamming your players. But I think as well, it probably was hit harder than she thought. Came to her more quickly to her left-hand side as well.
I think we've said it. It looks like it picks up pace on this outfield, doesn't it?
It does. And you know what? When you're a young player, this one's going to go straight to her, and you're starting your first team cricket here, you want it to be wet in April and May. It wasn't. It was very hard very early on. And I remember saying to one of our youth players, you've had the toughest introduction because it's coming at you fast off Orla Prendergast bat. Early on you're hoping that it's going to maybe stick in some mud, but that wasn't happening. Long off goes out now. Cover long off and mid wicket and long on the boundary.
It looks in lovely condition, the ground.
Well, Dale McDonough, who I don't know if you come across Dale, he runs a company called GM by Choice, and he looks after a lot of the grounds. This is one of them.
Right. Yeah, I've come across Dale.
Yeah, and he's got a group of young lads, mainly young lads, I think, that kind of work around the grounds. Conor Austin, the main one here. But yeah, it's in great condition for batters, not so much for bowlers.
That's a good run.
Yeah, well done from Emma Richardson, who's got her breath back after, I think she ran a 3 in the last over. So 9th over gone, 81 for 2. Still think that the Typhoons, if they can keep the run rate at this, they might have a chance. Leopold starts, her first over has just gone for 6. Sargent expensive, but got the big wicket of Gabby Lewis, and Jane Maguire pretty good up top as well. Laura Delaney just going at 6s. So a few more expensive bowlers. Zara Craig in particular struggled maybe with her line. And we're going to see another change. The leg spinner Ellie McGee, youngster from Rush, who she's a different type of leg spinner, isn't she? Kind of gets a lot of drift in.
Yeah. Looking for the LBWs by the looks.
Yeah, exactly. And she's someone who's a little bit quiet but fierce. You don't want to mess with Ellie McGee, a real competitor. Oh, starts with a wide one.
Ooh. Don't need to do many of those on this pitch.
No, you
need to give anyone any freebies.
No, exactly.
Spin seems to be the way to go.
I think so, yeah.
Pace off.
Yeah, because it's not, especially pace with the pace off, as you say, there's not much bounce. There's that drift. Just gets off strike. So I said what I thought a par score was on this, but I'm interested to know what you think. Lloyd?
Well, 10 and over, it's around that, isn't it? I think 9, if you said 9 and over for a chase, you've got the pressure of the scoreboard, but you'd want to be around 180 on here, I would think.
You said exactly the same as I did.
Great
so
minds.
It must be right, yeah. We'll find out in the second half. Goods from Freya Sargent, just load that down. Just enough.
Just got it. Good chase down.
Good dive, because there's no third. It's a good shot from Emma Richardson, and it's interesting that she's in at number 3, Richardson, because she's often a finisher in T20 cricket. Likes to ramp and scoop and reverse sweep and switch hit and everything.
I think that's one thing in the women's game as well that's so tough. 4 players out.
Yeah.
The accuracy that you need with 4 players out, it's and that's a great shot to play because you've got to move the field now and you open up another gap.
Yeah, that mid-wicket, Laura Delaney's already heading off, I think. I don't think she needed her captains to tell her, but she's moving from mid-wicket, and this is why...
Now you've opened up a massive...
Yeah.
Your accuracy, your line now has got to be perfect.
And look how big this boundary is to the right as well. There's twos everywhere on the leg side. Rebecca Stokel and Leah Paul have a lot of work to do. They're a good bit in off the boundary here. It's been punched in. Georgina Dempsey's quick off the...
That's well bowled though.
Yeah.
If you can keep it to ones.
Yeah, exactly.
On this over now.
But the boundary just ruins it a little bit.
Yeah. Very good shot.
I think the Scorchers need to continue going at 9s and 10s, and that field changing now for Christina Coulter-Riley. The reverse sweep not really in her wheelhouse, so mid-wicket back in. Much better. Oh, and nearly chipped it back to the bowler.
Again, good line to bowl that.
And that's normally where she bowls. I've never seen her bowl wide outside off like that. Maybe she was thinking so much about the reverse sweep that she was bowling into that arc. And she was one of the really impressive ones when Ireland at the latest World Cup for the under-19s. Ellie McGee.
Yeah, she's certainly a player of the future, isn't she?
Yeah. Good fielder. Oh, down the pitch from Christina Coulter-Riley. They'll take on Craig. Good single that. And you've done a bit of training with the girls so far?
Yeah. How long have I been here? I got here on just before late in May. I got here, so we've been doing sort of every Friday, but there's been a lot of cricket going on, so they've been playing a lot. So I'm getting to know them slowly. I've been doing a bit of travelling up and down the country. Been up as far as Breedy and then all the way back down, so I'm getting used to my way around and travelling. Sat in a couple of traffic jams. Been through some rain.
Yeah.
But we've had some sunshine as well. So yeah, the girls are training well.
Good.
Like I say,
so the training sessions, are you is the full squad up there, or is it smaller groups? And
we've had a mixture. We've had a larger group down south, a smaller group up north, and then we've had a couple where we've all got together.
Yeah.
Been able to do some centre wicket practices and let people have a go in different stages of the game that they're probably used to.
Good catch from Zara Craig there at 45. Christina Coulter-Riley coming down. It was a full toss and she didn't take full toll, so she's lost her wicket. I thought Joanna Loughran was going to go for it.
I was just going to say that was a catch where shall I, shan't I? Who's going to go if you don't call? So it was a good catch in the end. Yeah,
it was very good, and she didn't go the fingers up because obviously coming onto it. Christina Coulter-Riley goes for 18, 2 boundaries in it, 19 deliveries, so maybe a little bit slow. 91 for 3. Captain goes.
Yeah, you probably want to be more than one a ball on here, but still. They've still kept the scoreboard ticking. They're still around, are we at 9 and over? Is that right?
Yeah, it'll say it down the bottom here now.
Oh,
just below 9. That's the first time I think it's gone below 9.
Right.
8.95.
So they're sort of on track, aren't they? But a couple of boundaries though change everything, don't they? Soon back on here. But the spinners have just stemmed it a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's why Christina Coulter-Riley has gone only about a run a ball, because she's been in outside the power play, so the field spread.
Yeah.
But it's Sophie McMahon who comes out at number 5 for the Scorchers.
Interesting how they go about this period now, whether they look to run it around with find the gaps and then pick up the odd boundary, or risk a few wickets. And
yeah, I suppose for you as well, you're learning about what type of personalities and what type of players. Every game is a learning experience for you about these players. Because Sophie McMahon, in just looking back on how she's done, 33 from 13 against the Dragons the first weekend. So I think that was near the end of that
That's
innings.
a handy knock, isn't it?
Yeah, and 22 from 16 against the Typhoons last week. Just 7 from 7 yesterday though against the Dragons, so mixed.
See what she's got today. So I think it is keeping. That's a good shot. I think it is keeping slightly lower, perhaps than yesterday. So it might have just slowed down a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. So you might need a couple of balls just to get used to that bounce, especially if you're going to play on the back foot and try and cut it through the covers like that. I would have thought.
Yeah, especially for the spinners. She's someone who hits the ball and kind of strange areas, Sophie McMahon, so she's very useful that way. Very good through extra cover in particular, so that's why we saw the change in the field there. We've moved it back to cover for Emma Richardson, who's a little bit...
Where's she going to try and go?
Just getting
they're going to pinch, try and pinch a single every ball and get one boundary, I reckon. Stay at 9s. But
that's it. Well, the field is set for Richardson's reverse sweep. They'll change again now. Sophie McMahon on strike, and yeah, they're covering up that extra cover area. Georgina Dempsey in a catching position there. Oh, and that's bottom edge almost onto the stumps, and that's what you were talking about, Lloyd.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit low.
Lower bounds, so you've just got to be careful when you first come in, I think.
You can see why Christina Culturelli wanted to come down,
yeah,
can't you? Trying to inject some pace mid-off, mid-on inside the ring.
Probably just going to bowl back of a length a little bit here. Try and get people play a square of the wicket on a pitch that's not bouncing as much. That's quite a good plan from the bowler.
Yeah, she's one of the leaders, Leah Paul. She was captain of the Scorchers last year, but they've moved the captains around for the most part. 11 gone, 94 for 3, so really good over that one from Leah Paul. I think McGee just went for that boundary in the last over, but I think she started pretty well by and large. 94 for 3, so we're down at 8.5.
Right, this could be an interesting period of the game, this.
Pivotal.
Another couple of quick wickets.
Yeah, and Arisha Foysal as well. I think she'll be tough on this pitch with it staying low, the other leg spinner. Kind of similar to Ellie McGee. She doesn't get a lot of side spin, but good bit of drift in.
I think that line on this pitch, there's not going to be a lot of turn, I don't see. There wasn't yesterday, and there doesn't seem to be today, so holding that really straight line, make people hit across it, try and sweep you.
Yeah, so the Scorchers winning the toss and batting first, no surprise there. Typhoons have started to show signs of being able to chase down something like 180. They made 180 and replied to 191 yesterday. So
that was a close game, really.
Yeah.
The last 2 overs that I thought the Dragons bowled well, but it looked like they'd timed the chase really well at one point. I thought probably could have gone a little bit earlier, probably a little bit conservative around the 15th over.
Left too much to do.
Yeah, with wickets in hand.
Yeah,
a little bit like that. It'll be an interesting decision for the 2 batters out there. Whether with 7 wickets to go, can they be quite expansive now, or are they going to knock it around and wait till the last 5?
Yeah, that is interesting. I suppose for them it's, what's coming behind. Do they trust the next? Let's have a look. I might get a look at the score, the batting card at the end of this over. And we'll see what's to come. But Ellie McGee back on that straight line. Oh, and that's a bit of a gift, but not.
Found the fielder.
Yeah, not placed very well from the batter that's in as well. Emma Richardson, 32 from 19. You'd expect her to find the gap.
Yeah, you wanted that one, didn't you? That was a release ball, that.
I think she was a bit surprised, maybe.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to bowl a full toss, I guess, bowl it straight and you've got the protection out.
Perfect field placement, the bowler will say.
Because I'm a leg spinner. I'm supposed to bowl those to get wickets.
I knew what I was doing, just got the field in the right area.
You can ask her about it afterwards. That's her change-up, Ellie McGee.
Just change the length. They can be dangerous, low full tosses.
Oh, 100, especially for leg spinners, they get an extra bit of dip.
We've all been strangled by one, haven't we, at some point?
100%. There's another one. Oh dear, chance.
No, just got back.
Needed to hit there, I think, Laura Delaney. So Ellie McGee just gone for 3 so far, 1 ball to go. And they're just holding the Scorchers off a little bit here, aren't they?
Yeah, there's going to be something happen somewhere.
Spinners coming on outside the power play and doing a great job.
The Scorchers are going to need to take a couple of chances in a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Make sure the spin doesn't just strangle them.
Great
very
over.
good over. Great over.
Just 4 singles in it, so after going for 10 in the first, she's not gone for 4 that time. Here's the batting card. So power from Karina Bell. Barry and Canning can hit boundaries as well, but I suppose for the Scorchers, these 2 want to take it deep so that the hitters can come in a bit later.
They've probably got enough batting there, haven't they, with Ava coming in?
And Amy Maguire is pretty good as well.
Yeah, so Ava hit the flats a couple of times yesterday.
Really?
When I was on, yeah.
Yeah, she's very strong down the ground, isn't she?
She hit it
Tall
well
girl.
down the ground, so might need a couple of those coming in soon.
Yeah, well then, just need the ball. I know.
We got more spin.
Yes, Arisha Foysal coming on. The young leg spinner from Phoenix. Under 17. She was one of the captains for there's 2 Leinster under 17 teams. She's one of the captains of them. So this might be the moment that Emma Richardson decides to start putting the foot back on the gas.
8 to go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bit of intent.
Certainly a change of intent there, wasn't there?
Very good sweeper of the ball. Emma Richardson, we've seen the reverse sweep, but that was kind of like the straight standing sweep.
Probably trying to get it towards the covers down there, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so.
Mid on and mid off are up. So I think you're going to have to use your feet here and push those 2 players back. Otherwise they're strangling it square of the wicket.
Yeah.
So they've got to try and get mid on and mid off back, or at least one of them, and open the gap.
Yeah, because only 4 out right now. Just trying to maybe buy a wicket. Jay Maguire, I like this captaincy from her. She's sensed an opportunity.
They're certainly building pressure, which can. That's always tough on the bowler, isn't it?
Yeah. Your bowler. You can see your bowler's union now from that reaction.
Yeah, I'm saying the batter should get something on that.
Yeah. Yeah, especially look at her front foot. I don't think that's missed where her front foot started, has it?
It's a tough one, that.
She got something on that one.
It's going to run away. It's going to accelerate. Oh, it could be the first one not to. Oh no!
No!
It's a tight one.
I reckon that's 4. Ellie McGee did well. Yeah. Graham West.
Yeah, making sure everything's right and proper.
Yeah. Willie Clark just checking. But I think maybe if Zara Craig hadn't got so close, that's her hand touched the rope as she was keeping it in. So really good effort from Ellie McGee there. Just maybe the fact that it was the curve meant she didn't quite manage it.
It looks like it's slightly uphill there, but it still seems to accelerate, so it doesn't really make any difference.
Yeah, there's a few undulations. I think if you get it over a little hill, it goes back down.
Teasing you, slowing down and picking up.
There's one undulation over towards the clubhouse here, that if you're looking at a ball in the sky and you're running, you sometimes can nearly lose your footing.
Tip down it.
Yeah, exactly. That was really well bowled, I thought, from Arisha Foysal. The length.
Come back.
The length in particular, forcing Emma Richardson on the back foot. So maybe it's Sophie McMahon who needs to, rather than Richardson taking too many risks, Sophie McMahon maybe down the pitch try and force the field back.
These 2 balls, I reckon they could do with a boundary. She might have found it there, just split the fielders. They're not catching that one.
No. That's down towards the nets. The outfield's so hard here. So 2 boundaries in the over. Maybe the Scorchers getting their getting operation back underway.
So a new batter coming in, just getting used to that bounce probably, because that wasn't a high bounce, was it, for a pull shot? But she seemed to watch it onto the back quite nicely.
No, I think it was always going down leg side as well, so she wasn't too worried about it hitting the stumps. There's a full toss to cover it up. Has she bought a wicket? She has.
There's that dreaded full toss we were on about.
A bit of drop from Arisha Foysal, and after going for 10 in the over, takes a wicket with the final one. Just bottom half of the bat from Sophie McMahon. Didn't go through with the shot either. Jane Maguire takes a pretty easy chance.
Easy chance for a good wicket.
Yeah, Sophie McMahon disappointed after a boundary to lose her wicket. 108 for 4.
I think that's through the pressure that's been created, isn't it? A couple of quiet overs and suddenly picked up 2 boundaries this over, and with the chance of another one, just probably eyes lit up a little bit. Just didn't get it into the gap where it needed to go, but it's the right intent. They needed to get that intent going and a bit of impetus back into the innings, I think.
Yeah, you're right. And I think it was, you called it the dreaded full toss like last over, wasn't it, when Eddie McGee was bowling? So instead of Eddie getting it, it was Arisha Foysal. But I think Leah Paul and Eddie McGee really contributing to that wicket. A team wicket, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. They say that, don't they? Bowling packs. So
yeah.
You keep the pressure on, the next person, pressure on.
And Ava Canning in at number 6, and hopefully for the Scorchers, if you're a Scorchers fan, we're going to see her hit the flats, because I don't think I've seen a woman hit the flats here.
Yeah, she certainly got over that hedge yesterday, so it's
Okay.
over twice. Two and two.
Yeah. Well, I've seen Chloe Tryon hit the roof of the scoreboard, but I don't think she hit the flats. That was the year it was built.
Right.
She ruined the roof.
Decent hit that.
Yeah. Well, she's a
a
very
strong
powerful
player.
yeah.
Strong player.
Ellie McGee will continue for her third. No surprise there. I think it might be spin to the end here for the Typhoons.
It's got a good chance.
We might see Jay McGuire come back on and bowl a lot of cutters. She's got really good slower balls. Just drifting in.
Start to the over.
And now for Emer Richardson, it's a difficult period because she doesn't want another wicket to go down. Pressure being put on her now to keep the run rate going. It's now down towards 8.
Good, well fielded.
Yeah, Laura Delaney doing well in there at extra cover, having a good day so
Fielders
far.
are backing up the bowlers there.
Yeah, the Typhoons would dearly love a win before the season of Evoke Super Series T20 cricket is finished.
He's got that through, no. Well fielded again.
Sargent does well. So they've got Freya Sargent, Leah Paul, Arisha Foysal and Ellie McGee with overs, so they could actually bowl spin right to the end if they want to.
Yeah, it's got a good chance, hasn't it? It's well bowled.
Very
well
impressive.
bowled.
Very
Yeah.
impressive to be bowling this tightly on such a good pitch and quick outfield. 4 dots against a set batter.
And good field placement, really, because they've kept mid-off and mid-on up, which you would expect on this pitch to use your feet and get the ball over the top, perhaps, or at least through them. But the line and length that's been bowled here, they've not been able to get at her at all.
Yeah, you're right. And it's the final ball of the over, and Ava Canning on strike. Do they keep mid-off and mid-on up, or do they see if they can...
They've been brave so far, haven't they?
Yeah, I think... What would you do? What would you want them to do?
Batting either going back, one's going back. I'd have thought that protect the over.
Yeah.
You bowl it full like she has done. Oh, and yeah, protect it.
Well, there's only 4, as you said. You can only have 4 out, so square.
It's a tough job, especially on a good pitch and a quick outfield. But it's interesting where she bowls that. It's a good shot. Straight to mid-off.
Yeah, good field, great over. Just one in it.
Nice.
Ellie McGee, brilliant work from her. Backs up the wicket taking over from Arisha Foysal and comes back with a great over. 14 gone, 109 for 4. Now, you just tell me how long you're happy to stay here for, by the way, Lloyd. I'm having a great chat with you. So it's up to you how long you want to stay, but I'm not going to chuck you out.
No, okay, I'll stay around.
Great.
Stay around another couple of overs.
Yeah, lovely.
See what happens now. The game's at a good point now. It's poised, isn't it? But we've got to see some boundaries, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so.
And try and break the shackles.
I think the wicket of Gabby Lewis, the timing of that was absolutely brilliant. There's 7 bowlers there. The bottom 4 are spinners, and they might all bowl out. Well, there's not time, maybe. Arisha Foysal, slightly different to Ellie McGee, maybe a little bit slower through the air.
Almost the batters coming in now haven't got the time that they perhaps need to just have a little look at the pitch. They've probably got 3 or 4 balls and that's it. Got to start.
Well, Ava Canning, as you said, very good down the ground. So mid-off and mid-on up. For Richardson, they had fine leg out. They're keeping mid-off up. Long on goes back.
Long on goes back, yeah.
I think she's a little bit wide there for Ava Canning. Not going to lie, she likes to hit it straight down the ground, but we'll see. Oh. I wonder, was that intentional?
I don't know.
From
with cover out.
Arisha
Just a bit
Foysal.
wide and full to get it driven down there, maybe get her off strike.
Yeah, or maybe run past one. See if she'll try and take on mid-off. Just punch to the offside.
Yeah. They'll be happy with singles. The bowling side, every single's a great delivery now, isn't it?
Well, the run rate is below 8 now, and it was, getting close to 10 at one point, so they've pulled this back beautifully.
Our prediction could be wrong. Yeah.
Well, I still maintain 180's par.
Yeah.
Whether you get it or not is up to you. and a lot of it is
How's that missed?
up to Rima Richardson, who's, you know, her last 10 or so deliveries, she's really struggled.
Yeah. Probably getting a little bit caught into whether to stay in and see it through or try and accelerate.
I think that can be difficult if you're used to finishing an innings off and you've been in for a while.
Yeah.
It's how to pace your innings. It doesn't seem to get it quite right. There are the Tectors in the background. Harry, Tim and Alice down at long off. Maybe they'll do the fielding if it does go over Jane Maguire's head. Full toss. And
right, that's a better shot, I reckon. Oh, well,
I'll tell you what, she does get a lot of drop, Arisha Foysal.
Yeah.
We've really seen that there, haven't we? With the wicket of McMahon and then that miss hit from Richardson.
This is another good over.
Yeah, they've
This
held their nerve.
really has to be a boundary.
Ava Canning needs to take on the field on the offside, you'd think. It goes long on. And luckily for her, doesn't get enough of it.
I thought she got more of that.
Yeah. She doesn't have a huge backswing.
No. She's got some power though.
She does. The follow-through's there. So
Yeah.
Foysal finishes that over. Really good over after she takes the wicket. There they are, the Tectors. Enjoying a coffee.
Yeah.
And after 15, Scorchers 114 for 4. They really need to get motoring here, you'd think.
Need a couple of big overs, I would say. Another couple of overs of 15 perhaps.
Lenny McGee's going to bowl out her spell, so maybe this is the time, because they've had a good look at her, that they can take her on.
Yeah.
I think her last over was probably her best in terms of
Control
and
line and
consistency.
length, yeah.
So
and
four
and
fielders.
holding a nerve. The last ball was she's changed the field and bowled perfectly to it.
Yeah, I think you need to be able to hold your nerve as a leg spinner, don't you? And she took it up very recently, so it's not like she's been bowling it for years and years. It's only, 18 months maybe.
Well, she bowled it well today.
She was a little seamer before that. Oh, and
Chip that might be. Is it just one?
yeah, just one.
Jogging one. Finding it tough to break the shackles here.
Yeah, a little bit stuck, the Scorchers. Emma Richardson is surveilling the field, mid on, mid off, up in the ring, and fine leg goes out to the boundary, so they're aware of her sweeping ability. Can she show them her ability down the ground? Oh, a real drag down. Good thinking.
Hit out for one. Use your square fielders.
Yeah, I do think she meant to bowl short, maybe not that short.
Not that short, but
pull
she's.
the length
I'd
back.
have thought so with the field she's been setting. Now mid-on's gone back out now.
Yeah, not a big sweeper of the ball, as you can imagine. Ava Canning, very tall. The gap is over mid-off for her.
It is, definitely. There's a big gap there. So bowling lines have got to be good, nice and straight here. Shot. Still not beat the fielders though.
No, she hasn't really got
Chipped
going
it
on
in
that.
for two.
Oh, that was very close to being out. I don't think Ellie McGee realised how far out of her ground Emma Richardson was
No.
there.
That was certainly an opportunity.
Not a great throw in. You want that bounced in. Don't know if she was going for the... Yeah, straightened up a little bit here, Georgina Dempsey. Again, just trying to keep it away from Ava Canning being able to hit it over mid-off.
This is another good over at the moment.
Maybe just a little bit of a weak spot for the Scorchers. Leg spinners bowling in tandem. You don't
Yeah.
get it very often, do you?
No. And all the spinners have come on, and what are their economy rates? Under 6, all of them. A little bit quicker that one.
Good
Again,
field
just
set.
Middle round.
I thought that was the end of the over there. It's
There's one to go.
time for a boundary. We haven't
Yeah,
had one
time
in a
for
while.
Time for a maximum, I think.
Let's see, when was the last boundary? This is when I need a statistician to tell me this stuff, you know. It's
So that's not my job. I'm sorry about that. She's dropped short.
I wonder, could she have gone in and tried to catch that? Georgina Dempsey just keeps it to one. Another good over, great spell from Ellie McGee. Doesn't take a wicket, but just 22 from her 4.
You're taking that on here, aren't you?
Very, very good from the young leg spinner from Rush.
She can share somebody else's wickets, I think. If you
Yeah,
get none
exactly.
for 22 on here, you've created some pressure. So you get half of somebody else's wicket, I think.
Now, how long ago was the last boundary, do you think?
5 overs.
It was in the 13th. Remember, McMahon scored a boundary and then got out. That was the last boundary. So they were 108 for 4 after that over.
If they really kick on now, they probably could still get 160, couldn't they? Whether that's enough.
10 and over. Give them a chance. Leopold back into the attack. Down the pitch from Ava Canning, has to fetch it a little bit.
They're certainly bowling to the fields here.
Well, I think that's helped, hasn't it? With the Typhoons, they have a lot of captains in their team. Leopold has done a lot of captaincy. Rebecca Stokel as well. Jane Maguire, the captain at the moment, and then they've got the former Ireland captain Laura Delaney as well. So plenty of thinking players in the 11.
They know each other's game quite well as well, don't they?
Well bowled.
It's very well bowled. Not the shot we need though now.
No, come on, Richo.
Come on. Be brave. That's a little bit braver.
Well read by Stokel in the deep. And yeah, the Typhoons, I suppose it's been 3 weeks of back-to-back games for them. Feels like they're coming good right at the end of the series.
She might have got that, she split the gap. Oh, running around, yeah, just split the gap.
Very good.
Over. I'm sort of torn here because I'd like Ava to bat really well and be full of confidence. I'd like Leah to keep bowling dot balls. So I'm not sure how I can win there.
Well,
perhaps a couple of dots and a couple of 4s and 6s.
No matter what happens, you're pleased for someone.
I'm pleased for someone.
Yeah. Well, it was a much-needed boundary, wasn't it? Use the feet, and she's, I suppose, with the left-arm spinner, you don't get as much drop as the leg spinners, so she was able to go right through at the shot.
Just got a little break in play of the balls in the bush, I think.
So 3 overs left after this. Ellie McGee's bowled out. Freya Sargent back into the attack.
Yeah, yeah. I would have thought Freya will come back in. Do you go for a better seam or do you keep pace off?
I think maybe I'd bring Jane Maguire back on.
Just mix the pace up.
She's very, very good at that. I just saw her coming, yeah. Oh, well, this should be a run out.
Nope. Close, just made it. Close.
Needed to hit. Leopold gets the big appeal out. No, I reckon she was home. She was probably backing up a good bit, to be fair, at this stage in the game.
You would hope so.
Richardson needs to get to her half century and then add.
This is a free hit, I reckon, this ball.
Yeah.
You may as well just go for this. Get another boundary. You sort of on track for a competitive score. Whether it's enough, we don't know, but 160 might be competitive if it is a little bit slower today.
Yeah, you're right. Especially for the spinners, and the Scorchers will have watched and they'll know what bowlers will be effective. Blasted down the ground. That's a great shot from Emma Richardson. Didn't use the feet, so
she'll be happy with that one, she?
Yeah, dug it out from under her eyes. Mid-off in the ring, closes the over out with a boundary, and it was a free hit, just like you said.
They'll just get her going, hopefully, again there. Just feel a bit of pressure relieved. But a good strike, that. Beat in mid-off.
Yeah, you can see Georgina Dempsey so frustrated there. She was quite wide and mid-off.
Yeah, you're not catching that, are you?
No, no chance.
That one.
132 for 4 after 17, so maybe that was the shot that will get them going again. They had a great start at the end of the power play, 60 for 2, so it's been good from the Typhoons. Jane Maguire is going to switch ends and bowl the 18th. I think she'll bowl the 18th and the 20th.
Yeah, it looks like that.
It's just about who gets the 19th. That's the part we're not sure about yet. Cover long on, mid-wicket and square out. Slower ball, gets it in the gap.
Batting fireworks now, I think we're in for.
Hopefully, unless you're a Typhoons supporter.
Well, yeah.
So Emma Richardson's on strike now, and I think she'll probably be eyeing that fine leg who's inside the ring, but Jane Maguire likely to take pace off.
Yeah, again, if she bowls it full, you're probably trying to go over mid-off still.
And goes the ramp.
Yeah, there it is. It's a tough shot. Tough shot if you're taking pace off, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's the right option, because Jane Maguire won't bowl pace on to Richardson. She knows her strength behind the wicket.
She's going to go relatively full, I would think, at her pace. So I think give yourself a bit of room and try and get it over mid-off.
That's the back of the hand, just misdirected, and that's the 50 for Emma Richardson. Yeah, backward of that square leg fielder. She'll be disappointed. She just didn't quite finish it off there. Jane Maguire, 50 for Emma Richardson, who had a little bit of a quiet period, but she's coming back with boundaries now.
Yeah, coming back now. Just found the middle of the bat again, hasn't she?
Yes.
The last 3 balls, 2 boundaries. She just stopped a little bit in the follow through, didn't she, Jane, when she bowled that? Didn't really commit to that delivery, but it was probably the right delivery on here.
Going through the full repertoire, 7 boundaries in that 50, no sixes, but strike rate of 126. She'll be trying to elevate that a little bit now, Emma Richardson. She's going about 150, 160 for a good while.
6s are coming, I think, now. She's found the middle of the bat.
She's gripping the bat a little bit harder.
Shot.
Ball, that's a great
Nice
shot. Yeah.
shot.
Sarah Forbes out there. Hasn't had a lot to do, Sarah Forbes.
Right. Going to chat on the boundary.
I was going to say, she's got her pals out there.
Keeping her busy there.
Yeah, it's a big day, I think, for Sarah Forbes. Needs some runs. Hasn't had a great tournament.
She looks a good player, though. She's certainly technically sound, and
yeah, it can happen to anyone, can't it?
of course it can, yeah. So
all you need is a few good deliveries and then a bit of bad luck. Oh, that's not lucky. No one backing up on the leg side.
yeah, and then one innings just turns it around, doesn't it? And you're back flying. She's too good a player not to score runs, I think.
Yeah, and I think, you know, no better day. A nice
sunny day,
sunny
flat wicket.
day. Don't go on the back foot when it's on the stumps against the spinners. That's what I'd be saying.
No, I think you're pretty safe in coming forwards. I think that's a strong shot.
A very good shot. Yeah, just creeps down. Guessed well. 2 boundaries in the over. A good one for the Scorchers. 144 for 4.
So as good as Jane is at bowling at the death, it might have been a spin option.
Well, she didn't bowl last weekend. She's had a bit of an injury, hasn't she? So maybe it's just a little bit out of practice.
Could be.
Georgina Dempsey off the boundary there as well. I wonder if she'd stayed on the rope, could she have come around? But
it's so fast, isn't it?
And
so
also
fast.
she's worried about it getting in between her and
Yeah.
Cow. So yeah, not an easy one. 12 balls to go. We were saying maybe they might get to 160. Maybe they're going to look north of that now after that over.
Yeah. Certainly. Every ball you're looking for boundaries now, aren't you?
Leopold's keenly aware of that. The brains trust coming together. So Rebecca Stokel, Jane Maguire and Leopold just trying to decide on their field. Cover is going to come up, which I think is a good decision. Long off, long on. Mid wicket and square out just means she has to bowl straight. So the only bad thing about this, I guess, Lloyd, is the longest boundary isn't being used by the bowler.
No, I suppose so. Yeah. But the sort of the lines have bowled and now they've made the batters mistime it really, haven't they? They missed time for a period in that middle. I think they've done well, the bowlers.
Big gap between long on and mid wicket, so that might be where Richardson's eyeing.
Saw her coming and chucked it wide, but got done.
No ball. Off the
Off
the cut strip. Yeah, off the cut strip. So this is a free hit.
Funny how the game turns quickly, isn't it? We've been saying they looked a little bit short, and then this ball a free hit.
Yeah, well, she's taken the game on again, hasn't she, Emma Richardson, and getting the reward. Field stays the same. Straight down the pitch.
Straight down. Oh, great fielding.
Georgina Dempsey's probably one of the best on the boundary. Very quick across the ground.
Quick.
Read it well.
Very quick. They got away with that really, didn't they?
Yeah, Leopold owes her a drink later.
Yeah, she does. That's the place to get it, I think. It's quite like you say, the boundaries are slightly longer. Square of the wicket, aren't they?
Yeah, well, she's changed the field for Canning. Cover goes out and square is in.
Got to try and get that over the top here. There she's going. She got it?
She does. Watch
There you
out on the
go.
bench.
Watch those flats.
Evasive action in the deep. But who's that? That's almost... Oh, it's Paul Delaney. Laura Delaney's dad. Got the hat out.
Just watch the windows in the flats, I reckon, now. That's where she's going for. Second floor, I think.
Yeah, well, has that bounced over the... I just about didn't.
Well bowled. Very well bowled, that.
Oh! It's all happening. Emer Richardson's diving. Leopold nearly takes out the stumps. Good length, that. And just a little bit straighter. I think that was the key, wasn't it? Because the previous one gave her the arms to lift it over long on.
Almost made it into a Yorker, didn't she? That's well bowled as well.
Yeah.
It's a good comeback, really.
You know you're going to go for a boundary or two in these overs, so it's just about how few you can make them hit. Richardson's, is she going to do something funky here? Might see her change her stance.
Well, she might reverse. Bowled very straight though. Leah's bowled very straight, so it might be a tough shot. Trying to see behind square. There's no one behind there really.
I think the first ball she turned around, didn't she? She's trying to access that backward of square area.
Bowler's just having a little look, just in case. Very smart, that. Canning cricket. Trying to outthink one another here.
Goes the reverse.
Oh, that's out. Hit her own stumps.
Oh no!
You don't see that all the time. I reckon she hit her own stumps then.
Yes. Well, we'll get the value of another look. Leopold.
No massive celebration there, was it?
No, well, she's made 54, so she's played well, Emer Richardson, 54 from 45. And she doesn't look too happy, does she?
No. It's a purposeful walk off, that.
7 boundaries in it. Let's take another look. Goes for the reverse. This is a good angle. Oh,
looks like she changed her mind a couple of times in that shot, didn't she? And then follows through. Gives them a good old clout.
I don't think that I'd be too happy either if I'd just done that. Rebecca Stokely, did she, in a club game, took out all 3 stumps, I believe, last week.
Oh,
So maybe it's catching.
Let's hope not.
Yeah. So a timely wicket there for the Typhoons, because Emer Richardson was looking like she was going 153 for 5. And it's going to be Lara McBride, who is a very good batter, but not exactly a power hitter.
Right.
So I'm very surprised she's coming in ahead of Karina Bell, who's very much a boundary hitter. She's padded up on the sideline.
Certainly got to find the boundary here. What you don't need is a single.
No, exactly.
We need the in batter.
2, 4, or 6. And it's going to be dot.
Oh no, they've gone for a single. Not
Poor
sure.
cricket.
Yeah. Oh, and they run out.
And that's out as well. Well, then maybe that's a good outcome, because now Karina Bell's going to come in.
Right. That wasn't great thinking from the in batter, that.
No.
Wouldn't it be that end and have all 6 balls?
A little bit of feedback for you, for Ava, maybe.
Yeah.
Remember, you're the power hitter. We want you on strike. But Lara McBride, a short stay at the crease, 2 wickets and 2 balls. And Lara McBride, cuts a forlorn figure.
Well, it's just a little bit of hesitation, wasn't there?
Just didn't get the bat down.
Yeah, you'd really want Ava to be facing there. She's had a good look at the wicket. She just hit a big 6, so to let her have 6 balls at the death would be the wise move, I think.
Definitely. Well, it's going to be 3 Leinster players right at the end here. Leinster Cricket Club, I mean. Karina Bell, the overseas for Leinster, and Ava Canning, the captain of the club team. Laura Delaney bowling the final over, as she so often does. Very much a bowler who holds her nerve. Obviously, this is only the first half, so big deep breath for Delaney.
She'll be bowling right in the block goal, won't she?
That's, I would think, the plan.
Or bowled. It's a great start.
Yeah.
That's a great start. Hey, I mean, to keep them below 160 here.
Yeah, well, I mean, how much has this oscillated? We were
Yeah.
saying 180, then it was they're hopefully they get to 160. Then we were thinking above,
Yeah.
and now it's looking like it might be below. But at one boundary, and they'll be looking back above 160.
Oh, it's another dot. It's the value of those wickets at the right time as well. Just kept slowing the innings down, just so it seemed to start to progress, didn't it?
Yeah, that's a great phrase. I'm going to have to write that down. The value of those wickets at that stage.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And Laura Delaney wouldn't mind just creeping another one through, not for 12 so far in her 2.2 overs. Well, that's a big hit.
That's something. Can't see it on the side of the tent.
Yeah, well, she found the space, and she is a big, strong girl. Karina Bell finds the gap between long on and mid wicket, who gave up on it pretty quickly, to be honest. Rebecca Stokell is just hitting the corner. Got the length she wanted.
Got her arms free, didn't she? What are you thinking here? Where would you be hitting it?
About where that went, but that was a perfect delivery from Laura Delaney.
It's a good delivery, and they got one.
Yeah, I think for Karina Bell, she's very good over extra cover, so maybe that's an area to look at. Did she roll the fingers here, Laura Delaney?
I think she did, yeah.
She
Well,
does.
the side, isn't it? Out the back of the hand.
She's
Leg cutter.
leg cutter. She's missed out on one there. Joanna Loughran not gathering behind the stumps. Canning back on strike. That's lifted.
Got something. Oh, well fielded.
Stokell does well. I think she'd gone straighter there for Canning, so manages to come round, and Georgina Dempsey had to take evasive action to make sure she didn't get in the way.
Well, they've got to the 160. That's something to bowl at, isn't it?
I think what we've learned is the power play is really important, isn't it? So they'll try and knock off a good portion in the first 6 overs. Straight back down. This will be
good over, really.
Yeah, cut off. Very good from Laura Delaney. Boundary and 4 other runs in it, just the 8 in the final over. And the Scorchers have managed to post maybe a slightly below par. We'll find out, I think, in the second innings. 161 for 6. My thanks so much to you, Lloyd Tennant, for coming on and staying on.
Thank you for having me.
For 14 overs. And it's been great to get to know you.
Speak to you soon. Cheers.
Thanks a lot. So in about 10 minutes' time, we'll see the chase as the Typhoons look to get a win on the board for the first time in the competition before the end. It's 162 for a win. Make sure you join us back again then for the chase. Welcome back. Scorchers had a great start to their innings. Lewis 30 from just 16 before Sargent came on and managed to get one through. Richardson batted almost all the way through before she was out. Quite bizarrely hit wicket. Leah Paul was the bowler there, and a little bit of impetus added by Ava Canning, 30 from 18 for her, but maybe not the finish that they would have hoped for. 161, which will take some defending on what looks like a very good pitch and a very good outfield. After the first wicket went down, it was a good partnership between Lewis and Richardson, and then Richardson all the way through. When she came with Coulter Riley, they ran well, and when Canning came in, they managed to add some boundaries. 45 was the highest partnership there, and Canning 27 out of that, but nothing really at the end to give them that extra bit of elevation. The spinners were the most effective. 2 wickets for Leah Paul. She bowled out her 4 for just 29. McGee didn't manage to take a wicket, but she was impressive. Went for just 22 in her 4 overs, and Arisha Faisal managed to get a wicket as well. 1 for her for 15 runs in her 2 overs. Jay Maguire back in the bowling stocks and back in the wickets. 1 wicket, but 30 runs her final over. A little bit expensive. And Sarah Craig, just the 2 overs. She was expensive at the start, 0 for 25. So Laura Delaney as well. Good economy rate from her. She bowled a very good final over, and maybe that will be the difference as the Typhoons look to get their first win on the board, and it's the final game of the competition, but they're coming good at the end. It's going to be Sarah Forbes and Rebecca Stokel at the top. Stokel's been good since coming back into the team. Missed out the first weekend, but 60 in her first game back, and by and large, when she's been in, she's scored at a good rate. If she can stay in for a good amount of time on her home ground, then the Typhoons will be confident of a win. But it's going to be spin to start for the Scorchers. Ellie McGee with ball in hand. And yeah, it might be a case of trying to take the field on early. Stokel, very tall, a good reach, mid-off and mid-on in the ring. The 2 fielders out, Cow and Square, which is a little bit of a surprise to me because Stokel particularly good down the ground. The carrot being hung out for her. 162 for victory. Straight on the back foot, looks to get the ball between mid-wicket and mid-on. Just doesn't get the power to get the ball through to the boundary. Yeah, good bowling display, you'd have to say, for the Typhoons, because it looked like it was going to be up around 180 after the power play. The Scorchers were 60 for 2. They just lost the second wicket of Gabby Lewis, and that definitely stemmed the flow of runs. And oh, that's almost a catch in mid-wicket. Lulu Little jumped up, and good power from Sarah Forbes straight away on the sweep, and she's trying to get her form back in. It's been quiet during this series. Gets a little bit of width. Rolls the wrists. Maybe she shouldn't have rolled them because it would have gone higher, but no, you haven't seen a second screamer in the day. Laura Delaney took a brilliant catch in there earlier. Lulu Little is in that position now. She was the one who was caught in that position. Much better from Lara McBride. Just a little bit straighter. This is close. Hit would have been out. It felt like she had to run forever there, Rebecca Stokel. Good direction from Sarah Forbes, but Lulu Little anticipated well. It's a current run rate 12. Don't worry too much about that because it's very near the start, but the run rate required just 8. Very gettable. A little bit of length for Rebecca Stokel. Manages to find the gap. It'd just be 2. Lucy Barry reeling it in. Does well. Great intent so far from the Typhoons. They sense an opportunity to get some points on the board. The Dragons way out in front. 26 points for them. Scorchers in second on just 10. Down the pitch, over the top, and just out of the reach of Karina Bell in mid-on. Committed to the shot. A second boundary in the over. Let's see how close this was. Not far away at all. It's a very short boundary down there. You can see how close the rope is to the circle. Again, onto the back foot, straight to the fielder. Misfield, oh dear, don't run on a misfield. Good hit from Karina Bell, but Stokel makes her ground. A very eventful first over. 13 from it, and the Typhoons seem in a mood. Ava Canning will bowl the second over. Big, tall, in-swing bowler. Came in near the end there, made 30 from 18, so she's done a good job with bat. Can she back it up with the ball? Also wonder how many overs she's going to be allowed to bowl today. Managing workloads last weekend, didn't bowl her full quota in one of the matches. The same two fielders out as we saw last over. Backward square this time. That's Gabby Lewis in the deep and Lulu Little in mid-wicket. No fine leg, or no 45. The big booming drive from Rebecca Stokel pierces the gap, and that will run away to the short boundary, you'd think. Yes, it will. Two full from Canning, and Stokel really enjoying her time on her home ground. It just never seems to slow down here in Marion at the moment because of the good weather we've had. You can see on the bank it's been warm, not too much rain. Again, full, that a muted appeal because I was always heading down leg. I think Christina Coulter-Riley will be glad there wasn't any bat on that because it would have raced away. Better from Ava Canning, and Sarah Forbes will be thinking, why couldn't you bowl the full straight one to me? You're out of touch. It always seems to happen, doesn't it? Bowlers bowl better to you. It's a final opportunity in the Super Series for her to get some form back at this level. Bounces down, a little bit of a hack, manages to miss that mid-wicket fielder again. Lulu Little does well, and Stokel sends Forbes back. Maybe could have made it back, but decides not to take on the arm. Fuller than full. So after the boundary first ball, it's been a good comeback from Ava Canning, but goes for a boundary in the last as well. So boundaries bookending the over and ruining it for Ava Canning. 9 from that one after 2. It's 23 without loss. You just cannot get too full to Rebecca Stokel. She's ready and waiting to take you down the ground. That one nowhere near close to the fielder. Good power, and enjoying their time in the middle, these two. Sarah Forbes by and large watching Stokel, but she scored one boundary of her own. Sophie McMahon into the attack. She's going to change her field. I think it's long on back for her and square leg. In fact, it's covered, so Lulu Little being put into mid-on. No great pace from McMahon, but generally gets the seam to stand up and can sometimes get it to move both ways. And blasted down the ground from Sarah Forbes. Maybe this is just the innings she needs. Too short from Sophie McMahon. Outside off as well. Smashed down the ground. Great power. Gets the bottom hand involved, and she'd just been put in that position, Lulu Little, but doesn't manage to cut it off. Much better. Amy Maguire. Good to hear Lloyd Tennant commenting on Amy Maguire and saying she should be back bowling soon. Great to see her back with ball in hand. Good again. So you can see when she bowls at that bit fuller, Sophie McMahon, she's tough to deal with. Again, not full enough to get your front foot to, but not short enough to pull. Not as much bounce as maybe Forbes was expecting. Just manages to get the single. So equaling her highest score for the competition so far now. Sarah, well, in fact, she's gone to her highest score for the competition so far. She'll want to keep going. Rebecca Stokel, as I mentioned earlier, generally when she's in scoring at a very good rate. She's at 200 strike rate at the moment. And giving their team the platform, to exactly the kind of platform they would want to chase down 162, which I think is below par, but maybe we'll see the same kind of thing happen outside the power play as we saw in the first innings when the Scorchers were really slowed down by some good spin bowling. Dances down and straight down the ground again. A good fruitful area for Sarah Forbes. 2 short, 2 straight, and another boundary to close out the over. So that seems to be a bit of a theme for the Typhoons, targeting the first and last. And Sophie McMahon will be frustrated with herself that she gave Forbes that opportunity. 10 from the over. 33 without loss after 3. Ava Canning now bowl her second. Very keen not to bowl too full. That definitely looked in front, but the angle from Canning means that it's going down a leg. Gareth Morrison, the umpire, shakes his head straight away. Better length. Good comeback here from Canning after going for a boundary on the final delivery of her last over. Needs to be tight. Obviously only 2 fielders out because we're inside the power play. Current run rate over 10, so they need to try and pull this back a little bit. The Scorchers need a quiet over here from Ava Canning. Maybe got away with one there. Again, the bounce not what Sarah Forbes was expecting. Oh, that's a bigger shout. Just about creeping down, says Gareth Morrison. You need it to hit the back leg, and she basically was, yeah, you can just see, she said, going down. And Gareth Morrison said, yep. Wasn't far away, though. And decides to throw caution to the wind. Sarah Forbes, work to do for Lulu Little. It calls Lucy Barry off it, and she'll keep it to 2. Just didn't quite get the connection, but good direction from Sarah Forbes. Good intent as well. She's seen maybe her form is turning. Wants to take full toll here. Great comeback delivery, dances down Forbes, but right up in the block hole from Canning. So much better second over from her after 4. Typhoons have only added 3 in that over. It's 36 without loss. The target just 162, and I think the Typhoons, if you'd offered them that before the game, they would have taken it. Only added 100 in the last 14. 3 bowlers used so far. McMahon, when she's bowled straight and full, she's done well, but bookended her over with 2 boundaries. 2 overs for Canning, who her second over in particular impressive. McBride, a bit of a gamble, bowling the first over, didn't pay off. She went for 13, so it's going to be Lucy Barry to bowl the 5th over. Starts off with a low full toss. It'll just be 1, so not a bad way to start out. Apparently bowls with the 2 middle fingers on the seam, so that's why she doesn't actually, she can swing it both ways, but she doesn't know which way it's going to swing because of that. Let's have a look from this angle, how she lines up. Yeah, have a look. You don't usually see that. The pointer finger not really on the seam. Good start from her. Straight to the fielder, chance. No, I think she would have been home. Rebecca Stokel backing up well. It's nearly always 1 to 45, isn't it? If you just take off straight away, especially if they go down a long barrier, which Karina Bell did do. Might see her with ball in hand shortly. Not as many spin bowling options in the Scorchers team as there is in the Typhoons. As this is a chance mid on, just out of reach there. Lara McBride put the jump in, stuck the hand out, but again, Rebecca Stokel making use of these fielding restrictions. It's actually a good length ball, but that's exactly what Stokel wanted. Inside half of the bat, but full swing takes it over the fielder. So a useful boundary that for the Typhoons. They don't want to get stuck in a rut here. So it can be difficult to score outside the power play, relatively difficult. Square coming in, long on back for Stokel. Calls of 2. And Sarah Forbes turns and goes, gets back comfortably. Very good call that from Stokel. As soon as she hit it, she called 2. Sarah Forbes didn't need to look, just tapped and turned and went again. Slice and oh no, caught it in the end. Thought she'd managed to let that creep through. Amy Maguire's a bright start once again, cut short. Stokel plays at a wide one, got good power, but all it did was find its way straight to Amy Maguire and point to manage to catch it, I think, off her shoulder. 24 from 13. And disappointing for the Typhoons that it's Stokel who's gone, because she was batting really well. 4 fours in that innings. She's started so strongly for the Typhoons, but a full wide one, throws the hands at it, and let's see, off the shoulder. Yeah, good skills that from Amy Maguire. You can see from Gabby Lewis's reaction in the background, she thought that maybe the opportunity had been lost, but no, 44 for 1. Leopold out at number 3. The Paul family in the background there, they'll be looking forward to this, hoping that she can see her team home. A big partnership this, you feel. The left-hander in Leopold means that from both ends there'll always be one of the 2 batters who can access the short boundary. Lulu Little will bowl the 6th over, traditionally the most difficult to bowl. And the 6th over for the Scorchers, they scored 12. And I think the Typhoons will be hoping for something similar. They were 48 for 1 at the end of the 5th, just 4 ahead of where the Typhoons are. Changing the field as you'd expect when there's a left-hander that comes in. Everyone's got to go scurrying around, cover and square the 2 out for Little. Dances down straight away. They'll take on the fielder Ava Canning there for an easy single. Should probably look to do that quite a lot, Leopold. Just work the ball around at the start and try and get into the middle overs, work the ball around, run well. Good time for a wicket, that, the 5th over. Just stalled the innings ever so slightly. Finds the gap again, but just a single, so good first half to this over from Lulu Little. And as we come to the end of the power play, Typhoons well set. And Paul again dancing down. They're not going to take on Lucy Barry in mid-off. I'm delighted to have some company now. It's been a long 6 overs of everyone having to listen to me by myself. Julia Price, I suppose. There are many things that I could say about you. Former Australian World Cup winner, I'm going to go with. When was what was the last World Cup you won?
Well, see, I'd prefer you didn't say that. It loses all integrity when you say that. I like to feel like I'm still young, and you know, with it heading to longitude yesterday, didn't do it. Could have mixed with the young kids, but decided to come down here and watch some of the Super Series. It's been great so far, and a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
And you're well travelled as well, just visiting Ireland to do Super Series. I know this is exactly why you came.
Absolutely, it's on the top of my commentating list. I was been hoping for it, and that's another ticked off the bucket list.
It's your debut in Super Series, is it?
It is.
Okay, can't believe we didn't manage to persuade you on before. But what I suppose I'll get you up to date with what's happening in the game. The Scorchers made 161 for 6. And that's a lovely time, nicely timed shot from Sarah Forbes. It's racing away to the long boundary, and it really is a quick outfield. Is that over somewhat spoiled? Lily Little started out with 4 singles, and then the last ball going for 4.
Yeah, it's a bit quicker on that side of the field, isn't it, towards the pavilion? Just hard to chase down. Once you get it through the infield, I was lucky enough to be at the games yesterday, and we saw a couple of decent games as well. Some good scores as well. And this is a good opportunity for the Typhoons.
And not 0 points so far in the competition. This is the last game, so it's the last opportunity to get some points on the board. Lucy Barry being whipped off after taking that wicket of Rebecca Stokel, and Lara McBride, the off spinner, back on. Left hand, right hand combination, very useful when there's one short boundary and one much longer one.
Yeah, it does make it a bit tougher for the bowlers, but I like the option of the off spinner to the left hander. A bit of protection on that short side. I think it's a good end for her to bowl to the left hander. She does like to take the leg side shots on, does Leah Paul?
Yeah, and she likes the reverse sweep, so they've put the third in straight away, no mid wicket. So the ball goes straight to where that fielder would have been. Ava Canning does well in the deep to keep that to 1. And Sarah Forbes, this is her highest score in the competition so far by a long shot, 24 from 19 for her. It's been tough going, but her final opportunity to try and put her name in the hat for those squads being named. Zimbabwe coming over soon. Julia, I went to call you Pricey there, I'll call you Julia on here.
Formal.
Yes, I know. And a new coach in, Lloyd Tennant. I was talking to him a little bit earlier. It's as a coach yourself, how tough is it selecting the first squad when you come into a new job? Yeah,
it's pretty tough, and I can't imagine he's going to make wholesale changes. I'd imagine he'd probably be fairly safe, but great opportunity with this series to really have a look at, the stars and the talent around in Ireland.
Yeah, well, in fact, I asked him how it was doing that selection. He said he's not making too many changes, so you're exactly right. I was kind of setting you up there to say something different, but glad to see that the coaches in general agreeing on that. And I suppose for him, he's had 3 weekends of seeing all the players pretty much that he has. Oh, that's a beautiful shot down the ground. Oh, and not the contact maybe she would have wanted. Shiva Boja not making great ground there. That'll be 2. But good intent from Sarah Forbes.
Yeah, definitely. I thought actually she batted reasonably well yesterday. Just couldn't really find the gaps. And today, that's what you want to see in your players is what they learnt from the previous games. And she's really evolved today, playing some good positive strokes.
Just to beat mid-wicket. Yeah, she's seen the gap over mid-off and taking it on. And I suppose as well for her, if she's out of form a little bit, but at least she hasn't gone into her shell. She's taking on the field and still trying to get going. Obviously, we're outside the power play now, but when we were in the power play, she was taking on the fielders in the ring.
There's also, you mentioned about the series coming up, Zimbabwe particularly. They just came off a series probably a while back earlier in the year against the USA, and I wouldn't have said that was their best series ever. I think they just got over the line 3-2, or they just snuck over the line. So good opportunity again for Ireland.
Good fielding from Karina Bell. Yeah, they're kind of an up and down team, aren't they? Zimbabwe 7 gone, 56 for 1. They have some really talented players, but just seem to flatter to deceive, or sometimes they just don't quite play as well as you think they should on the international stage.
Yeah, I was also just in Rwanda at the Kwabuka tournament, T20 tournament with Brazil, and Zimbabwe A, or the emerging Zimbabwe, played in that as well and won that tournament. But were challenged quite a lot by a lot of the African teams, and it was an excellent tournament to be at. But I think it also is showing that Zimbabwe's really trying to invest a little bit more than they have in the past in the women's program, and I think that will help, in particular being a full member nation. They really need to up their game a little bit.
Again, positive from Forbes. Oh dear, hit and run from Leah. Well, Leah Paul didn't hit it, but she called it, I think. It was a bit of a tight single. So that A team, were there any senior players in the group?
They had about 3 of the younger players that had toured to the USA previously. So I think they were sort of putting them in captaincy positions or slightly different roles to just sort of see what they can improve on from their performances in the USA.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if they make any changes from that USA, the team they played against the USA to this series, and then Pakistan coming next month, which will be really interesting. Because Ireland, one of the things Lloyd Tent was saying was that Ireland are planning on climbing up the rankings and trying to take on teams like Sri Lanka and Pakistan and try and get ahead of them.
Yeah, Ireland have sort of sat at that sort of 9, 10, 11 sort of position for quite a while and have been a little stagnant. I mean, good that they're not dropping, but at the same time you do want to see that sort of shift up the order. We saw Pakistan with the investment in their game really move up the rankings as well, but they've probably stalled a little bit at the moment as well.
They'll move to the offside top edge. Oh dear, watch out. Rima Richardson called it. Thank goodness, I thought we were about to have a big incident there, but shells it.
Yeah, just a little bit of lack of communication there. I would have nearly said the bowler should have taken that one. Tough one diving forward for Rima Richardson there at mid-off. The bowler got in a pretty good position and probably was right there, but she was coming at full speed. You see her bailing out of that one.
She looked like she got a big fright when the call of mine came, but at least she did call it. Louise Little didn't, so someone had to. Good single.
She's really developed her batting or improved. I've seen Leah Paul over the years, and she's certainly looking a lot more confident. Those sort of shots probably weren't in her repertoire a couple of years ago, so it's good that she's got that bit of a power game. She's unconventional with her technique, but she can also play, take the pace off the ball, look for those quick singles and continue to rotate the strike. So I like that, the development in her game as well.
And she probably hit at one pace, didn't she, a few years ago? She definitely added the power game and then a bit of touch as well. Sarah Forbes looking to power it. This is a chance for Lucy Barry. Hit and you're gone, but just misses. Good pick up and throw though.
Absolutely, and the pressure on the field is as good because she has really just pushed the fielder to her right there at mid-on and made that single pretty easily in the end. And that's what you want to do as a batter, is just keep putting the pressure back on the field. Make sure you're rotating that strike, getting your scoring shot percentage up, which is eventually obviously going to help with that strike rate and maybe chasing down this total a little easier. But at the moment, they look pretty comfortable.
A little ramp. Oh. Did she get anything on that?
I don't think she got anything on that at all. But the wicketkeeper, I think, was indicated as buys. Wicketkeeper really got sucked in for that the style of the lap she was going to play. And you've really just got to keep an eye on the ball no matter what sort of shot that the batter's going to play.
So yeah, Christina Coulter-Riley moved leg side and buys. That's disappointing for the bowler. You want the simple outcome covered, I suppose, and if the ramp shot comes off, then there's not too much you can do about it. Maybe she was eyeing up a catch down leg side or something, but 4 buys are the results to close that one out. 8 overs gone, 65 for 1. And just back to the climbing up the rankings, I suppose for Pakistan, when you look at when they invested, immediately they climbed, and it took so much longer for the likes of Ireland, and you still don't see Netherlands or Scotland having as much investment. And the evidence is there, a bit of investment, and you get payback very quickly. And then the next step definitely is tougher, isn't it? To get where are Pakistan at the moment? I think they're 6.
6, I think, yeah.
To break into the top 5 takes a lot more of a player pool. I don't think they quite have that in Pakistan yet, but they probably just are missing out on some big hitters. Their bowling's pretty good, but the batting maybe not there. Paul goes straight down the ground, really good shot, and there's that parry you were talking about, Julia.
Yeah, and good control as well. She probably in the past also would have dragged that probably down the throat of the long on that's set there, but she really held her shape nicely, made sure she was really just trying to hit the sight screen. And that's exactly where the ball ended up as well. So a really nice shot here. Good use of the feet, good extension of the hands and the full face of the bat directly to a target. So lovely shot there from Leah Paul.
Interestingly, not too many sixes. I think there was only 1 6 in the first innings, and you'd think there would be plenty with how short the straight boundaries are, but I think maybe just showing the pitch has slowed up a little bit since yesterday. Good single there, follows a 4 with a single. Leopold, she's going at a run of ball. Sarah Forbes slightly better, 31 from 27 for her. She'll be absolutely desperate to get to a milestone today, won't she? Really good opportunity to get a big score. Now McBride taking the pace off, so it shouldn't be more than one, you'd think. Left-handed fielder as well. And Amy Maguire, we were hearing from Lloyd Tennant, will be coming back bowling soon. She's been working on her action, so I'm excited to see that. It's going to be difficult to change, isn't it?
Yeah, it is always tough, and particularly that quickly as well. It's one of those things that's going to take a little bit of time to be able to resolve a few little tweaks in techniques. But I think it's good having a different style coach as well. Lloyd Tennant coming, a bowling coach.
Yeah, great to have a bowling coach in. Good work from Lucy Barry there. Cuts it off, but they'll come back for two. You always get good running when these two are together. Sarah Forbes and Leah Paul. It'll be really interesting to see, because I think what happened was she got a back injury, and maybe that contributed to a change in technique that didn't work out so well. So all fingers crossed for her that she comes back strong. Nicely flighted delivery, but beautifully played by Leah Paul. Dances down, just a little punch down the hill towards the scoreboard, and a second boundary in the over.
He didn't really need to overhit that. Got it on the full. Got to use her feet nicely and just punch that into the gap with a sort of a shortish extra cover, and there's plenty of space behind her, and just a good lesson in cricket. You don't have to have all the power game necessarily to hit boundaries. It's just about being smart and just making sure you're aligned to your target, hitting those gaps.
Yeah, just guilty of being a bit square there. I was trying to cut off the single. I think gave Canning an extra cover and left the gap open for the boundary. So it's going to be a change in bowling. Karina Bell for her first spell in the game. A little bit of extra pace from her, so it'll be interesting to see if she manages to get some bounce out of this slightly slow pitch. Straight away into the pitch, and not much bounce, so there's the answer, I suppose.
Absolutely. It's interesting, the field too, because they've really got a field set that's for shorter pitch bowling, or at least back of length. So you sort of know as a batter what she's going to do, but does expose her a little straighter towards us.
You could see Leah Paul maybe run at her here. She's not too worried about the ball getting above knee height. Always difficult, isn't it, when you come on to bowl and there's a left-right hand combination to adjust.
Absolutely, but she's a good tall bowler. It's good to see a little bit of pace out there at the moment. Just probably overpitched that one, lost her shape a little, fell away. Just probably just trying to work out how to bowl to that left-hander, and
yeah,
also at the moment, and what length, and just tweaking her field a little bit. Interesting enough, it's the deep square, so it might indicate that she's going to bounce her.
Round the wicket as well, so change of angle. There you go. Tried the bouncer, didn't get up. I'm not sure it's the pitch to bowl that on. And look how straight that pull shot has gone. Not a huge amount to pace off the pitch. And Leah Paul really motoring now.
If you're going to bowl that bounce, you've got to make sure you're actually hitting the badge. And this one was really wide. One didn't really trouble Leah Paul at all, and had plenty of time, plenty of space to hit that into with the field that's currently set.
For a second there, I thought you might have found the fielder. Dances down this time. Oh dear, mix up. Oh, misses.
Yeah, just been well short, I would have thought as well.
Yeah.
Just over-committing on that, backing up at the non-strikers end.
Yeah, backing up, and then I think there was a no, and then a yes, and then another no. Yeah, Paul is as keen as anyone to run, but Amy Maguire very good in that point position. Takes on mid-off this time, and down the ground, it's just curved away from the fielder. Makes a good effort in the deep, but a second boundary, and it's a costly over so far for the Scorchers.
Well, that's exactly what we're sort of talking about. The field that she's got is set for that shorter pitch bowling, and this one really over-pitched. A little shuffle as well from Leah Paul, just to take on the mid-on or mid-off that are up just on the ring, and didn't just have to clear the fielder there. Gets the outcome of the boundary.
Yeah, I really think a change in field couldn't come soon enough here for Karina Bell. And there's another short one. I suppose that's Going to be another boundary. Yes, helped on its way. The fielder in the deep, they're not able to come around, and it's back-to-back boundaries.
Yeah, probably not what they were looking for at the moment, Scorchers, and they're trying to reel in and find a wicket. These Typhoons, they're starting to look nice and set with a pretty good partnership developing here between these two players. You've also got Laura Delaney. I think she might even be next. Got some good runs, 60 not out yesterday. So she's in some good form as well. We're going to have to try and work out a way of how to stem these runs.
60 from 47, so she got them at a good rate, and that's not what is needed. Frustration for Karina Bell, and she's actually just lucky that didn't pitch off the pitch. We did actually have a no ball for off the pitch in the first innings when Emma Richardson ran right across, and then Leopold was trying to keep it away from her, but it, yeah, pitched just off the cut strip. Better from Karina Bell, the angle suiting her, so she closes out with a dot, but costly over 15 from it. Halfway through their overs in the chase, the Typhoons 93 for 1, very well set for their first win in the competition. And quick start from Rebecca Sokol, 24 from 14 for her before she just misdirected one towards Amy Maguire in point. And now Forbes and Paul coming together for the second wicket partnership, and both of them looking comfortable, well set, 33 and 28. So Scorchers desperately need something here to try and break this partnership.
The outfield's really quite quick today as well. Always is quick at Merion, but probably wasn't over so much over the weekend. Maybe grass was a little longer, but I think with the perfect conditions you've got today for cricket, nice and warm, everything's dried out, and it's just racing away on this outfield. So you've really got to make sure that your fielders are in the right spot. You're bowling to your plans and where you want to be hit, because obviously T20 cricket is all about the batters.
Yeah, well, we saw in the first innings it was easier against the seamers, and the Scorchers maybe a little light on spinners. That's a bit of luck going the way of the Scorchers. A full toss down leg side, and Sarah Forbes can't believe it. She's found the fielder in 45.
Yeah, well, just a bit of a loosener there from McMahon. She just didn't quite get a technique right. Arm was a little low in the delivery, and just pushed it down leg side. So I'll just have to finish your action.
Maybe she's worried cover up. Doesn't want to miss outside off, so just down leg side, square leg, mid wicket, long on and long off. The four fielders out, and it's one of the things you can't seem to persuade men when they first start watching women's cricket. We really do only have four outside the ring, outside the power play. So there's always one area where you'd love to be able to drop someone. For Sophie McMahon, that's cover. Drops short, wide, gap found, and that's just a gift to Sarah Forbes after she missed out on a couple there. She doesn't miss out this time.
Bit of a tough field to bowl to, really. She's going to have to bowl stump to stump, and then she's got no room down leg side as well with the short 45 in. So I'd probably maybe tweak that field a little, just so that it just gives her a bit of leeway to you might have a short square instead of the deep square. That's probably more for a short ball. And at the moment I think she's bowling some nice lengths, but just gives her no margin of error at all.
Yeah, totally agree. And it's not like Sarah Forbes is sweeping the seamer and you need to have your square leg out. I think square leg in, cover out just means that she can bowl a better line. We saw that outside the power play it can be difficult to score boundaries if you just keep the ball on one half of the wicket. Better. Played down to long on. Gabby Lewis, who was batting so well earlier, she was kind of dismissed out of nowhere in that first innings when Freya Sargent managed to get one through.
Yeah, she's been around for a long time with the Irish team, and the captain obviously now as well just recently took that over in the last 6 months or 12 months or so, I think it is. But I think she's doing an excellent job. She's always been great for Irish cricket. Obviously a cricket royalty, the family, and the Lewises.
We were just discussing that thank goodness Alan Lewis had daughters because well, unfortunately YMCA no more, but really got women's cricket going again at that club. Oh dear, Christina Coulter-Riley standing up to the stumps for Sophie McMahon. doesn't get around in time, and that's 5 wides. Not what the Scorchers needed. That brings up the 100, and a little bit sloppy from the Scorchers.
Yeah, just again, just a little round arm with that technique. Something that maybe Lloyd Tennant might notice and assist at this next level as well. Sometimes it's not just about the top level. It might be with him, but I think it should filter down into this Super Series level.
Sophie McMahon is a contracted player, so no doubt he'll be working with her. Has suffered a lot with injury in the last couple of years. I think she had a knee injury and various things. Anyways, it's great to have. Obviously, Ed Joyce was the coach for a long time, and his assistant coach was a bowling coach. But the depth of knowledge that Lloyd Tennant would have with working across the men's and the women's game, bowling coaching in particular. Little tickle from Forbes. Just making it look easy, aren't they, the Typhoons in this chase? They seem to know exactly what they're doing. 105 for 1 after 11.
Yeah, well, I think the pitch is probably a little tired after a lot of cricket over the weekend on it. So you really know where the bowlers are going to be bowling. If they're bowling short, it's not getting up, so you could probably nearly stay on that front foot anyway, and just know that you can punch and hit through the line quite safely. It's not seaming around everywhere, so it's quite a placid pitch and probably a really nice one to be being able to chase down a total, knowing exactly how hard you need to go.
Yeah, exactly, and their bowlers, to be fair, the Typhoons, their bowlers, especially their spinners, bowled excellently outside the power play. Scorchers got off to an absolute screamer of a start, 60 in the power play, and then only managed to add another 100 outside. That was because the Typhoons had 4 spinners that took the pace right off, and as you quite rightly said, if you bowl a good length, it can be difficult to score boundaries here. Oh, nice little bit of movement in from Ava Canning, who returns. She had an expensive first over, just went for 3 in her second.
If you get a bowler though on a pitch that's not doing a lot, you want a bowler that can do a little bit in the air as well, and that's maybe what Ava Canning, even if it might be angle, does get really high in her action and sort of force it into the right-hander at the stumps, so could create something here.
Sarah Forbes trying to create something there. I wonder, would she take on mid-off in the ring? That's the 5th fielder they would have out, you'd imagine. She's looking to go leg side. There's loads of protection out there, square, mid-wicket and long on.
These girls obviously know each other pretty well, know the strengths of and the weaknesses of each batter, so maybe just tempting her with that offside field. Up.
Dances down and gone. Good from Christina Coulter-Riley behind the stumps. A good plan from Ava Canning. Sarah Forbes tempted down the pitch and doesn't make contact, but she'll be pretty pleased with this comeback today, I think. 39 from 37 for her, and a timely innings as we come to the end of this Evoke Super 20 trophy. 39 from 37, 5 boundaries in there, and she, along with Rebecca Stokel, laid the platform but just couldn't see the side through.
Yeah, well, they've certainly had a good foundation now for the rest of the team to push through, chase down the total set by the Scorchers. Another look at this dismissal from Canning. Just kept this one wide, didn't come in. A little bit of a leg cutter, rolled the fingers down the outside of it. Forbes came down the wicket, probably assuming that it was going to be coming back into her. And just ran past it, a nice easy stumping, which wicketkeepers love.
Well, you literally just alluded to it, and they know each other so well, these players. Does Ava Canning know that Sarah Forbes goes deep in the crease and then comes down the pitch? So she read it really well. I might be giving her too much credit there, I don't know, but we'll give it to the bowler. They don't get a lot in T20 cricket, especially not in a placid pitch here in Marion. They've got the breakthrough that they will have wanted. They've broken the partnership, but Laura Delaney comes out at number 4, and there's no one more experienced in the setup than Laura Delaney, former Ireland captain. She joins Leah Paul. They are used to batting together in the international team and in the Super Series as well. We're just having a little pause because Christina Coulter-Riley is getting some attention here.
They're looking quite relaxed out in the middle. Laura Delaney's just come out and having a great old laugh.
Leah Paul's obviously said something very funny.
suppose the form that she's in at the moment, Laura Delaney can probably come out there and feel quite confident that she should be able to assist Leopold immediately and chase this one down. Can't be a little slow early on, but really accelerated later in the innings yesterday. Maybe left it a fraction too late.
Yeah, that's exactly what Lloyd Tennant was saying earlier on. He was on comms in the first innings, and he said they gave it a good go, but maybe should have gone a couple of overs earlier in the chase. So, I mean, have you and Lloyd Tennant been chatting before you came on?
Messaging this morning.
yeah. So Ava Canning 2 dots and got the wicket. What can she do? Solid forward defence. Good start. It's always easy bowling the first ball after a wicket, isn't it?
Absolutely. Not so easy facing it as
No.
the batter. And you don't really want to get out on the next ball either. But good lengths as well. Could have nearly been over pitch, but it was smart play and the experience showing from Laura Delaney, as we've spoken about. Just have a bit of a look to see if there is any swing there from Canning.
Yeah, they know each other really well. These two play their club cricket for Leinster Cricket Club. And Laura Delaney, I think, after yesterday, she'll be pleased to come out, and it's not quite as difficult. 57 to win from 49, which, if these two stay out there, she should do it a canter, but not if they face wicket maidens. They'll want to score off this final delivery. Ava Canning coming back into the attack and making a very important breakthrough. And they will manage to score off it. So a great over from Ava Canning, but goes for single in the end. Just not managing to get the wicket maiden. She'll be very pleased. And Christina Coulter will as well, the captain, with the gloves on. 106 for 2 after 12.
Now, with fear of Lloyd Tennant having already said this morning, because clearly we've spoken and had a meeting about this, but the intent shown by particularly someone like Laura Delaney, just her first 3 balls, there was no real intent to look to score, which is something that no matter how experienced or how old you or how long you've been playing in the game, is something that you really need to keep developing. And to me, I think that's an area of her game that she could continue to improve, because she's still an integral part of the Irish team, and particularly in that middle order, where her first 10 to 20 balls, her intent needs to be a lot stronger, and that might assist her as well in having those sort of a little bit of a quicker start and taking that pressure off her at the back end of her innings all the time.
Richardson into the attack. Emma Richardson starts with a very slow full one, and there's the intent that Julia Price is looking for. She's unfortunately hit it to the longest part of the boundary. Lucy Barry doing a lot of work out there. She had to stop it twice, but she's kept it to 3.
Well, in fact, they've gone for 4. It has been called down on there on the boundary, despite a good effort there from the fielder. But, you always hate that as a batter when you've run your 3 and then they tell you it's a 4. But
Yeah,
important you do it, though. Important.
Yeah, and also, especially when you're not the one who hit it. And Leopold's disappointed down the other end. Another slow one around the wicket from Laura Delaney. Oh, dealt with that well, Karina Bell. A little bit of a bobble. That could have really fooled her there.
Yeah, there's a little rough patch there at one of the on the edge of the square there from the bowlers. The bowling marks in previous games.
That's better from Richardson, and better intent again from Laura Delaney. Very clearly, when she couldn't score a boundary, just popping it into square leg for a single. But yeah, I think it's a great point about the intent in the first 2 or 3 balls, because if you are slow in the first 4 or 5 deliveries and then you lose your wicket, then the next person's slow, you suddenly, a couple of overs have gone out of the chase. It was something that Leopold, I thought, did well when she came in. She's immediately just looking for a couple of singles off any good delivery, and the field was spread as well for Delaney when she came in. Dragged down in between the fielders. Does she manage to get it? She does. Very good power from Leopold. Got into position early, swiveled round and helped that for a boundary.
Yeah, very good connection from her. She's been in some very good form. Emma Richardson putting in a slightly quicker ball here. No movement at all off this pitch. Usually with those quicker balls that doesn't really happen either. Another good attempt there on the boundary, but really bisected the fielders perfectly.
And there's a big full toss, and again, good direction. Well, I wonder Is it a no ball? Keep your eye on the umpires here, because that was very, very full. Yes, it is. Umpire Willie Clark says that was above waist height, and it's going to be Laura Delaney who gets to face the free hit, which is probably a good outcome actually, because she's hitting towards the small boundary leg side.
And it's also a good thing to have when you're sort of just starting to get into your innings as well.
Dances down. Good comeback from Emma Richardson. Right up in the block hold. She knows Laura Delaney loves to come down the pitch to spinners, so she read it well. That's the only problem with when you're only just into your innings. If you get the free hit, if you don't hit it to the boundary, it can sometimes knock the confidence a bit. More flighted. Good finish there from Emma Richardson after a slightly shaky start to the over. She comes back well. 10 in the over, 118 for 2.
Now, you mentioned before the women's game only has the 4 out. Is it time to go and just put the 5 back out?
Yeah, maybe. I think sometimes when you've got pitches like this, you think definitely, and you watch WBBL, you watch the World Cup when it was in the UAE, maybe not. Batting was quite difficult, so when there's a lot of turn in the pitch and you don't have the physical strength of the guys, maybe it'd get too boring having 5 out, so I'm not sure.
At the same time, you don't have to put 5 out.
No.
You've just got the option to put 5 out. I just think it's sort of... initially, I think it was brought in to open more boundaries up so that there's more boundary... And all it actually did initially was tighten up the inner circle and make it more difficult.
Lulu Little. That's an unusual looking shot from Laura Delaney. You don't really see her looking to squeeze it through the offside if it's straight. Usually it looks to go square. I had to have a quick look and see who it was batting there for a second. But yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree. It's like how everyone said, it's going to be the end of spinners, and then actually the spinners were the ones everyone struggled to get away. It was like, had the opposite effect. But I think when you think of playing against Australia, if you're playing against Australia, you definitely want to be able to have 5 out, because nearly all their players can access 5-6 places for their boundaries, can't they?
Absolutely. And I just think it might just help the bowlers a little bit. We've spoke before about it just being a batter's game, and I don't know, I just think that I think it makes it a little bit more challenging, and again we'll just keep that evolution of the batters having, but also supporting bowlers and allowing them to just have that little bit more protection.
Maybe a add to the 6 hitting. I haven't seen too many 6s here today, just the one from Gabby Lewis. That's, well, picked up from Leah Paul, just a little bit straight from Lulu Little, and makes use of the short boundary, does Leah Paul, and she's really motoring now.
I was just about to say, I think she's been bowling quite nicely, good lengths, just got a line a little bit wrong here. That length is nice on this pitch, just the line to the left-hander. The left-right combination can cause a few issues. So I'm just trying to find the ball at the moment. There's only shrubbery underneath the...
There's only a couple of places around the boundary where there's shrubbery, and we found every single one of them today. There's a little corner here, the scoreboard, and then to the right of the scoreboard there's some shrubbery, and it's gone into each of those a couple of times.
And Ireland's probably the place, if you're going to have a ball going to the shrubbery, that I'd be happy to go into it. But in Australia, you're saying I'm getting another ball because you'd never know what's going to be in there.
Yeah, that's something that I always try and say to people who are going over to Australia: do not reach in after the ball. We're okay here. Yes. It might just be like a daddy long legs or something. You're pretty safe. Or a slug.
Well, I
might
could
be a
handle
bit slimy.
Yeah.
Nothing that's going to bite you too hard.
I'd send you to hospital anyway.
No, exactly. So they've got the ball back, but now fighting to come back in the over here. Lulu Little staying over the wicket, better direction, and Leopold not able to beat Karina Bell in an extra cover, and they're really crying out for a spinner here. Lara McBride, the only spinner in the team at the moment for the Scorchers. The Typhoons had an embarrassment of riches, 4 spinners in their lineup. And that's helped on its way. I think she will be regretting having caught up with that, Leopold.
Yeah, I think she thought she might have got a free one there, but just managed to sweep this one to fielder down at fine leg. Just trying a little bit of a variation there, so I don't dislike what Little was trying to do there, but just the execution of it wasn't quite right. But this is a really good opportunity to try a few things that maybe they've been working on in club cricket and then bring it into the Super Series at the next level.
Well, very much started out as a bowler, Lulu Little, and then had an injury, kind of fighting her way back in more as a power hitter. But good to see her adding the bowling in, especially at this level. She'll be hoping to get back into the team as an all-rounder, the senior team. 125 for 2. She played in that recent qualifier in Pakistan, unsuccessful qualifier for Ireland. But I think she got her first 5 in that series. So slowly but surely making her way back in to the setup as a bowler. 14 gone, 125 for 2, and you'd imagine it's going to take some bowling to pull this one back for the Scorchers.
Yeah, you would be thinking that the Typhoons are sort of got this in hand at the moment. 8 wickets in hand as well, and just they've been able to manage to bring this run rate down, just needing run a ball, which makes it a lot easier. A lot tougher, and particularly when you've got those wickets in hand, you can tend to take a few risks if you need, but at 6 and over, you don't really need that.
Yeah, so they've changed from Emma Richardson. That gamble didn't pay off. They're looking for another spinner, but Richardson just didn't have the control they wanted. Sophie McMahon preferred. She's been pretty expensive as well, but I think the confidence not quite there with the bowling at the moment for Emma Richardson. Batted well, made a half century, gave her team something to defend, but it's looking like too little. We were saying in the first innings that 180 was about par, and the Typhoons did well to keep them below that. A little bit of innovation, and has she just given it away, Leah Paul, now?
Yeah, I like the idea. It's probably a time to experiment a little bit. If she's feeling that confident, maybe just get this over and done with a little sooner. Alternatively, they could just be quite conservative and knock around the ones and get over the line that way. But the Scorchers have really got to find something here.
Maybe bring an extra fielder in, try and put some pressure on. And just clips off the pad, Shiva Boja. Doesn't manage to get there to stop the 2. It's a 2-leg buys. But good plans from Sophie McMahon, cramping Laura Delaney up for room, so strong through the offside. And so if you were out in the middle, Julia, are you taking it on and trying to put it to bed early, or are you just knocking it off in 1s and 2s?
I'm just knocking it off, I think. In 1s and 2s, I was never a big hitter anyway. But yeah, I think that's a good way of getting some time in the middle. I think both these players are going to be in contention, definitely, for the series coming up. I think it's good for them to just be able to knock a few things around. But at the same time, in saying that as well, is there something they want to work on? Is it something that Lloyd Tennant would be saying, well, we want you to be able to finish a game a lot quicker than this or accelerate? Is it a time to experiment? Does it matter if they win this game or not?
I think it's a really interesting time to be in one of these teams, because you don't know the new coach, you don't know what he's looking for, so it's nearly like you're an actor trying out for a part, isn't it? Because if they knock it around and actually he wants them to smash it around, is he have those messages come through yet? I wonder, do they know his style of play? Because I would have gone the opposite to you. I would have tried to have a big over and try and knock the wind out of the sails for the Scorchers. Just shooting out towards Gabby Lewis in the deep. And what you don't want is to go at 1s and 2s and then you leave it a little bit too late and you lose a few wickets.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. But a pretty good over there from McMahon.
Yeah, just
4
5
off the bat.
Yeah, and 6 from it.
But yeah, it's an opportunity as well for the Scorchers. They're really trying to squeeze, like you mentioned, bring a sort of a fielder up, just to put some more pressure on the batters, because they are going to be able to do it as easily as that. If they do start to go for the hit, then it actually brings the Scorchers back into the game. But there are so many different things that can come out of this game with regards to personal achievements or selections, or just the Typhoons winning their first game, or it depends what the purpose of the competition is, and what sort of things we're looking for in the players. I think also the fact that the captain at the moment is changing bowlers all the time. You can see that they're really searching for this wicket, and that's what you need to do, is don't let the batters settle. Make it as hard as possible for them.
Lara McBride into the attack again, and Lulu Little will keep that to one of the strongest boundary fielders that the Scorchers have. And yeah, Lara McBride, it's kind of stick or twist. They can just knock it off, but could the Scorchers bring another one in? They've got cover in, long off out. I think against Laura Delaney, who loves coming down the pitch, could you bring one of the straight fielders up and try and tempt her down the ground, see if you can get a wicket?
Well, I mean, she's 11 off 15 at the moment.
You can see she's itching to come down the pitch. Good bowling from Lara McBride, just pulls the length back.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you only need ones, it's still getting that so the pressure isn't actually there. They need to bring someone in to stop that run there, and really make her go through with that shot.
I think though, as a batter, sometimes when you're 12 from 16, even though there's not team scoreboard pressure, you feel the scoreboard pressure on you. So that's what the Scorchers have to keep on pressing.
Potentially even after the conversation with Laura Delaney yesterday with Lloyd Tennant, if there was one. She might be having that in the back of her mind, thinking, I've really got to get on with this because I'm 12 off 16. My partner at the other end's 43 off 27.
Well, they've changed the field just like you wanted. Mid-wicket in, no third. Delaney will take on, and that could be out. Nope, wrong end.
Wrong end, but I do like that. I think it's just putting a little bit more pressure on Laura Delaney, not allowing her just to go the easy space drop and run. She's got a few options. Now it just makes it that little bit harder. She had to run on the fielder then.
Yep. Doesn't really have a reverse sweep, so no third with the lack of pace is a good option. Yeah, Paul's happy to just knock it around for ones. I think that's the conversation. They've gone the Julia Price route. They've had the conversation and said, right, let's just do it in ones. 26, well, 25 now. Balls remaining, 26 to win. Quicker from Lara McBride, but down the leg side, not what was required.
Probably just trying to change it up too much, and I would have just liked her to sort of stick with her plan a little bit because they've got the field change now that they wanted.
Again down leg side, but Delaney manages to find the gap for one. That's pretty slow from Shiva Boja cutting that off. Maybe just trying to tempt the second. The plan doesn't come off, but 7 runs from that over, and now it's a runner ball to win for the final 4 overs. Typhoons 138 for 2. And it's at that stage where you really can't afford a loose delivery if you're the Scorchers, because a boundary or even 2 boundaries really puts it to bed.
You just got to, the Scorchers have just got to find that wicket, we said, like with that squeezing. Otherwise, it is the opportunity. There are some deep pockets here where you can quite easily get 2s, which then gets them ahead of that runner ball, takes a little bit more pressure off. It doesn't necessarily have to be a boundary ball, but space can sometimes mean a boundary as well. Anything like that, just one bad ball, and just a fine edge here, gets it through for another boundary.
Delaney takes on extra cover and just about gets something on that Karina Bell. I don't think she's got enough though, because that's going to go over the boundary. There's the boundary we were talking about that the Scorchers really needed to cut off, and the Typhoons marching towards victory, it feels.
Just a little disappointing. Good footwork from Laura Delaney there. That's just where you can't afford to let those balls through, particularly when it's a ball that's being hit forward of the wicket as well, nice and straight. There's not really a lot of risk to the shot.
Does better that time, Karina Bell. Maybe just a little bit too upright in that position at extra cover. And the fielders, we talked about it all day, they need to back up the bowlers, especially when it's a flat pitch, quick outfield. The ball's in your area, you've got to cut it off. The Typhoons fielded very well. Again, down the ground from Delaney, gets off strike.
I thought the Typhoons actually bowled quite well yesterday, and the way that they batted and chased that total and just fell 12 runs short, I felt that they could have won that game if they'd fielded better.
Okay.
So it's great to see that they've improved that in the first innings today.
Yeah, caught well. There was no chance that was missed, which is good. Laura Delaney took an absolute screamer one-handed in mid-wicket. That was, if we did a highlights reel at the end, that would be first on there. Leopold just slowing down a little bit, which is understandable. She's going to try and see the team home. Generally knocking the ball around, did most of the damage early on. She's moved across. They'll won't come back for a second. You'd imagine Gabby Lewis doing well to come around and cut it off.
What I like about that from the Scorchers is they've tried to keep the stumps in play. Leopold's trying to find these boundaries now. She's a little over it, I think. And what they had to do is they hit a lot squarer, which then increases the risk and the potential of getting the wicket. And that's what the Scorchers need to do. Even if they can't stop the ones, make it a high-risk one or try to work out how they're going to keep the stumps in play.
Very nice shot that from Laura Delaney. Great contact down to long on. Yeah, even though we can see it's just 17 from 19, the Typhoons know they are yet to get a win, so there's still that pressure. Scorchers have beaten them twice in the competition, so it'll be very much a consolation win for whomever gets over the line, but the Typhoons would love not to have a 0 after their name on the tournament sheet. Cover comes up, fine goes out.
So no one in a circle on the leg side.
You don't often see that.
So she's quite happy to give away the one, clearly. So I'm assuming there's going to be no room here at all. She's in fact got no space to give her any room. She has to bowl over the wicket into her pads.
Reverse. That's a brilliant shot from Leopold. Audacious. Makes sure to get the hands low to high, lifts it over the offside, and real style to close out the over with a boundary.
Yeah, that's very, very clever cricket there. Good game awareness, understanding of trying to find the boundary. Switches pretty early. Gets some good connection because she knew exactly where the bowler was going to be bowling that. And to her credit, the bowler put it exactly in the spot that she wanted. It was the same spot that Leopold did as well. And good to see that innovation coming into the game. It's an acceleration towards the back end of the innings. I'm sure that the new Irish coach will be pleased to see this.
Well, brings herself to 49, brings the team to 149 with that, and brings her team to within 13 runs of victory. Lucy Barry will get the ball back in hand. Lara McBride bowled out, 0 for 37 in her 4, so they'll be disappointed their spinner didn't manage to get a few wickets today. Just counting her boundary field as too many out for Lucy Barry here. For me, I think she should bring another one up as well. Try and squeeze. If Laura Delaney manages to get it through, then you say well done. Mid off, mid on, up, third cover, square, and mid wicket out. And she finds the fielder in point. Either side, and that's 4.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like the deep third. I just sort of feel that one should come up onto the circle, and you've got that protection in front of the wicket at least, and maybe make them play a shot that they're not going to be wanting to play.
And she's not. It's not a big area for her at third, Laura Delaney. She tends to always play through the shot. If it's outside off stump, she'll try and beat point. So almost giving her extra space there. Straight to that third fielder who should have been in the ring, Julia Price. 150 up. An opportunity for Leopold to get her half century. 49 from 30, so she'll have reached it at a good rate if she does pass the milestone.
Yeah, she's been quite impressive. Hasn't really looked like she's played too many bad shots, and probably played the right shots at the right time as well when she was looking for that bigger shot. Just trying to finish it off. See at the moment, just having a quick look around where the fielders are, particularly on her leg side.
Dances down and gets absolutely none of that, which is probably a good thing because it would have gone straight to the fielder if she had, but it's a 50 for Leopold. And with ball in hand, she was impressive. Bat in hand, even more impressive. Good all-round performance from the left-hander. 50 in 31 deliveries, 8 boundaries in it, and entertainment value 100%.
Yeah, just the 31 balls, which is what you really want to see. You've got someone who's accelerating really nicely. Wasn't high risk at all.
Another risky run from Delaney. Oh my goodness, that is a wild throw. Louise Little, there's a bit of venom in that. And I think Gareth Morrison had to run for cover, the umpire there.
It's a little bit the old scissors, like the high jump at the Olympics. Just got over that one. Probably a little disappointing though as well from the Scorchers. Asleep on that leg side boundary. Probably should have pushed up and not allowed the second run.
Might it be feeling like their loss is coming? They're not going to take on Richardson. Just enough risks for one day for Laura Delaney, maybe. Good bowling from Lucy Barry. Nice and full under the bat of Laura Delaney. Just asking her to create something. Down the pitch, and always makes it easier to come through for the single, doesn't it, when you've run down the pitch. Good over from Lucy Barry though, just the 5 runs in it, and with 2 overs to go, Typhoons 154 for 2, 8 runs required.
You can tell from that over she bowled probably a little fuller but didn't have the field set necessary for full pitch bowling, but they were finding it difficult to get it past and down the ground. A little unlucky going for 5, the 1 overthrow in that as well, so really 4 runs at this point of the game with 2 set batters is excellent bowling from Barry.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't here when I was saying it earlier. Apparently she holds the ball with the middle 2 fingers pointed down the seam. This one just, the pointer finger just rests on the left-hand side of the ball. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
No.
So she accidentally swings it both ways. Doesn't know which way it's going. So can
Maybe
be
she's discovered
useful.
something.
Yeah. Lulu Little into the pitch. Nice bowling from her.
Yeah, that's really nice length, just making it difficult. Delaney loves being on that front foot. Either work on coming down the wicket or the keeper now going back to put the helmet on and come up. Knows how much Delaney loves moving her feet. Just that length, I would assume. Yesterday we really didn't see too many pull shots from Delaney. Just sort of worked it into that leg side for 1, which is obviously easy with every single fielder bar mid-on on the boundary, on the leg side. So plenty of space to be able to work that easy single.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure about Christina Coulter-Riley coming up, because it means Louise Little doesn't want to bowl it into the pitch, that fuller length, and everyone out in the leg side, you can just, and you know, it's not getting up that much, so Laura Delaney probably doesn't want to play across the line of it. I think she should stay back, but
I would also nearly have an extra fielder in the infield on the leg side as well, purely for that exact reason that Laura Delaney doesn't look for she always just tries to work it to the leg side, and that person will just make it a bit tougher for you. Again, when you've only got 7 runs to win, 10 balls, it's pretty easy for the batting team.
Paul makes use of the space behind the wicketkeeper. A big effort in the deep, can't cut it off. Just too wide and 45 in fine leg there, Lucy Barry, and that boundary takes them within 1 hit of the win.
Clever cricket here again from Leopold. Sets up nice and early, knows that the bowler's trying to bowl it into the wicket, so she's going to get plenty of time to have a look at it and lift it over the keeper's head. But now as well that they're up, so no one back. Races away for 4, and just 1 hit away from winning their first game of the series.
Yeah, and a little bit too little too late, but better late than never.
Is this a little joke?
I was wondering, would you pick up on that?
Well, I did before and I just thought it was me. But
goes the other way, and a chance goes down. It wasn't the easiest catch, but one you'd expect to be taken at this level. Shiva Boja covered the ground but couldn't grasp on.
A little disappointing too if it had been taken and she'd got out that way.
Yeah.
After such a good innings so far.
You can just see her practicing kind of in the background there on the side. Yeah, it would have been disappointing for her not to be able to walk off with the win. 2 to win now from 8 balls. They'd love to do it this over. Paul very keen to get back on strike.
Yeah, fortunately, mid-on was switched on to the fact that someone was going to have a shot at the stumps. And at this point, when no one's running, you probably don't need to. You just want to hold the ball, stay nice and calm.
Gives yourself a little bit of room and gets off strike. So we will go into the final over. But the boundary in that over really putting the game at an end in terms of a contest. Just one to win with 6 balls remaining. So Laura Delaney will be the one who hits the winning run, you'd imagine, unless she does something rash. or of course a bowler could bowl a very good delivery. Who's it going to be to take the final over? No one pitching up at the bowler's end.
Nope.
It's going to be Ava Canning, I think. A little bit unlucky for Lucy Barry, just get 2 overs, 1 for 13. She bowled 1 in the power play and then the last over from this end.
Yeah, I think she should be pretty happy with her performance today. I think she bowled well. They've really squeezed it out as well, Scorchers, to be fair, into this last over. Maybe probably haven't put enough pressure on the Typhoons, though. And it was sort of, I think they were just waiting for the batters to make that mistake as opposed to them actually being assertive and in the upper hand by being attacking.
Yeah, no proactive play in terms of bringing fielders in. They're all in now. Just 1 in the deep on the leg side. And Laura Delaney finds the gap at 45. Little ramp. And they don't need to run the 2 because the game is over once you've run the 1. You don't get the second one to the total, I'm afraid, Laura Delaney. But she finishes on 27 from 32. Leah Paul goes off with her bat raised high, 55 from 33 for her. And a very accomplished chase there from the Typhoons, doing it with 5 balls to spare and getting their first points on the board. It won't be a bonus point win, but they'll take the 4 points nonetheless. Dragons were easy winners though, and they won with 26 points on the board. Next closest was the Scorchers on 10, and the Typhoons win by 8 wickets to get their first 4 points on the board.
A really good partnership there though from Leah Paul and Laura Delaney. Got off to a good start as you mentioned with Stokel before, but I like the fact that the Typhoons didn't just throw it away. Their season hasn't been great and they really worked hard for the win today, so I was really quite impressed. And I think as well, leading into their upcoming national series, I think it's a really good format for them to be playing in games like this and being able to have high quality cricket. So well done, particularly to Leah Paul today. I thought she was excellent with both ball and bat, and I'm assuming they do player of the match, do they?
There's a player of the festival, yeah. So player of the match is decided by the umpires, 3-2-1 each game, and then at the end of the festival, a player of the festival is named. Unsurprisingly, the Dragons have had player of the festival the first 2. It's been Amy Hunter and Orla Prendergast, and plenty of players putting their hands up to win at this festival, but also the top players coming into form at the right time ahead of a big period in the season in terms of international cricket, which I think will please Lloyd Tennant. So the Scorchers started out well, particularly Lewis and Richardson, 30 from 16 for Gabby Lewis, who looked in good touch, but would have been disappointed with how she got out. Richardson, 54 from 45, was the mainstay. Coulter Riley looked to get going, but probably got out at the wrong time. 18 from 19 for her, and then Canning finished strong with a flourish, 30 from 18, to help her team up to 161. And then the partnerships, plenty getting going. The highest, Richardson and Canning, 45 at the end there, as they tried to push up towards 160. They did manage to get there, and it was set up by Lewis and Richardson at the start, 32, and then Richardson with Coulter Riley made 38.
I didn't really do too much wrong with the bat. I didn't think that scores are usually a pretty reasonable total. And the Typhoons bowled pretty well as well. Quite restrictive, obviously. Delaney, as she always is quite frugal with, didn't pick up a wicket, but just the 19 runs from her bowling, going at 6.33, but some excellent bowling from the left armour of Leah Paul, picking up the 2 wickets.
And in the chase, they never looked in doubt, really. Rebecca Stokel got going very quickly, 24 from 14. She'll have been disappointed not to go on and make a big one. Forbes as well will be very happy to see 39 beside her name. Took some risks in her innings, but they paid off, 39 from 37. And then Paul and Delaney, particularly impressive, coming together at the end to see their side home at a canter. 55 not out from 33, and brilliant rate from Leah Paul to set up that chase. Lots of partnerships. The highest one, 61 between Forbes and Paul, and came at a good rate as well. Just the 39 deliveries for them to get that 61, and then sedate in the end from Paul and Delaney, 57, playing low risk cricket to give themselves the win.
Bowling from Scorchers today really struggled to pick up any wickets and really make any impact, but I thought Canning was excellent today. Just those angles made it really tough. Picked up the 1 wicket from. Started into her fourth over. I thought also Barry and Little both bowled very, very well as well. Nice and tight, kept the stumps in play a lot, and just made it a little bit tougher for the batters from the Typhoons.
So finally, the Typhoons get a win on the board. It took them 19.1 overs to chase down 161. It was set up by their bowlers, Leah Paul, 2 for 29 for her, and then she followed it up with a very good 50 with the bat, and she managed to carry it as well. Delaney came in, finishing it off, but Forbes and Stokel got things going at the start. Canning did her best, 1 for 13 from 3.1, but it wasn't enough for the Scorchers to restrict the Typhoons. They won by 8 wickets in the end. So thank you so much for joining us from wherever you're watching in the world. Thank you so much for Julia Price stepping in as well. It's been lovely to hear your thoughts. We hope you've enjoyed the broadcast from Marion Cricket Club, but there's more live stream coming up. Make sure you join us Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the final festival in the IP20 trophy. That's coming from Pembroke and Sandymount, so if you can't join us there, make sure you join us online. And from myself, Isabel Joyce, from Julia Price, and from Lloyd Tennant earlier on, from everyone at MWX and Cricket Ireland, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.